at 10 o'clock, all right here on Talk Sports. Right, let's bring our pundits in for the first time this afternoon at Portman Road for Talk Sport. The former West Ham and England defender Alvin Martin, FA Cup winner in 1980. And afternoon, Alvin, does that just feel like yesterday still?
No, that sounds like a long time ago, Dan.
And up at the Riverside for us, the former Scotland international Chris Owellamo. Big man, hope you're well. Furthest you made it in the FA Cup, I'm thinking 2013. You were part of that Oldham Athletics squad that went, to the 5th round replay with Everton.
Yeah, that's right. Good afternoon, Dan. Good afternoon, Alvin. Yeah, made it to the 5th round on a couple of occasions, Dan. That's as far as it went.
Is that it?
That's it, mate. Nothing great about it. I can't. Alvin's on the phone. I mean, FA Cup winner. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we've got some FA Cup royalty with us this afternoon on Talksport. That's for sure. In Alvin Martin already today. Job done by Leeds at Accrington. I should say though, Chris, it felt a little more nervy for Leicester, didn't it? At Walsall, another performance from Brendan Rodgers' side. Not exactly blowing us away.
Yeah, but it's, you know what? It's a result. You know, it's what it's about. You know, I think it's always going to be difficult when you go out, especially when that league pressure's on you. You know, I think he's went very strong, and I think he has to. You know, you've got to kind of try and get that catalyst from somewhere to try and get that confidence. Trust me, when you walk into a dressing room after a defeat, there is nothing worse. You know, it's the best motivational tool to go out there again and get the right result, a positive reaction, performance, whatever it may be in that next game. So it's no surprise to me, Dan.
Alvin, you're at Portman Road, as I've said. Two sides high-flying in Ipswich and Burnley, burning ambitions to get promoted in the league. Managers having serious impacts.
Absolutely, and both want to play in a similar fashion as well. So it'll be interesting today to see, you know, the possession stakes, because you know, Kieran McKenna, he's done a wonderful job here. You know, he's been in charge for 60 games. He's lost only 18 of them, but they've won the majority of them by playing some lovely style football, possession based, and that's exactly what Burnley do as well, Dan. You know, I watched a documentary that when he arrived at Burnley, Vincent Kompany, he started to set out certain targets and philosophies that he wanted to play, and it was really interesting to watch it. But I'll tell you what, that was day one. Where they are now, everything he was trying to integrate into the club, he's been successful at, because they are so successful. They're in such a rich vein of form in one of the toughest divisions. So today, Ipswich very much up against it, Dan.
Chris, are we going to get a surprise today? I mean, 9 Premier League sides fallen by the wayside in the third round of the FA Cup. Arsenal lost last night, of course, at the Etihad, live here on Talksport. Blackpool at Southampton, they had too much for Forest in the last round. A contrary brought to you on Talksport 2. Sunderland are at Fulham. Fulham have made 7 changes for this afternoon. Tony Mowbray's side going well in the Championship.
Yeah, you know what? It's what the FA Cup delivers every round, isn't it? There's always an upset. Teams going well. You know, I think there's from I say the lesser club, the smaller club coming in. There's no fear. Just go out there and try and enjoy the day. You know, go be competitive, play the way that you know you can, and you know what? You have to be switched on as well, concentrated. But the players will be up for it. Like you say, for any manager going out, it's always an easy conversation to have, a team talk to have, to go out there and get the players right up for it and motivated. So it wouldn't surprise me, Dan.
Here come these sides at St Mary's, Southampton and Blackpool. Mick McCarthy tasked with solidifying Blackpool, dragging them clear of relegation in the Championship. Chris Owellamo, I'll ask you quickly, a former gaffer of yours, hard work, organisation, his mantra, 31 years in management.
Yeah, well, I spoke to him the other day, obviously, when he got the job, and you know what he's all about. He'll go in, the players will buy into it right away, because how honest he is. You know, he's a fantastic human being above all else, but then the coach, that football mind, you know, we had many a debate, but he does hold his hand up and say, you know what, I might have got that one wrong, and he says that in front of the group. You know, the players, he's inherited, in my opinion, a very good squad. You know, a squad of players that the 2 times that I've witnessed them this season, that they've been outstanding. They just need to consistently reach those levels, because they have quality in that team. They score goals, they've got energy, high intensity, but we have to see it consistently. And I think Mick McCarthy going in there, that experienced head, he'll be calm, he'll influence, and he'll allow them to go out there and express themselves, but it's down to the players at the end of the day.
Wanted to ask you as well, Alvin Martin. Fulham fancy to go far by many. Marco Silva making 7 changes for their action against Sunderland at Craven Cottage this afternoon. Did they need to make so many? 7th in the top flight. I know they're hoping to strengthen further back end of the January transfer window. Fulham fans hoping for a run to Wembley.
Well, I think it's down to the managers making decisions. We've got the same situation here with both Ipswich and Burnley, both chasing from promotion. You know what your priorities are. Obviously, it is to get out of the division if you're not on the top flight, and it's this is a bonus. I think I'm looking at Burnley today, a team they're playing with so much confidence. It reminds me of the team I played in at West Ham in 1981. We won the division by a long shot. The biggest enemy is complacency. So I think both managers will be looking at this performance first and foremost, but carrying it on into the league. They don't want to perform badly in a game like this because you might just lose some momentum. But I'm looking forward to a real good football match here today, Dan.
Alvin Martin, thank you at Portman Road for us this afternoon on Game Day Live on TalkSport. Chris Owellamo up at the Riverside ahead of Borough against Watford in the Championship again. Here as we take you around the grounds on TalkSport. I'm your host, Dan Windle. Breaking news out of the Championship. I'll repeat it in the last hour. Wigan Athletic have appointed the former winger and FA Cup winner with the club, Sean Maloney, as their new boss on a 3.5-year deal. The 40-year-old replaces Kolo Touré, who was sacked after just 9 games in charge on Wednesday without a win in those 9. Touré, the Attic's bottom of the Championship table, 4 points adrift of safety. It's taken on a fight. The EFL show back over on TalkSport 2 Monday night from 6, bringing you plenty more on that Maloney appointment. Later on TalkSport, we bring you back-to-back commentaries, further excellent action from the FA Cup 4th round.
There's Johnson on the penalty spot, 2-0. Wonderful goal, and it's a fine team move by Preston. Kane on the edge of a penalty area, fires in a brilliant goal, and Harry Kane finally breaks the deadlock, and a match which was screaming out for some quality now has it from Tottenham's main man.
Brilliant finish from Marcus Rashford. He's come to the party right at the very end of the game. Manchester United have turned up the music.
Yedon gives it back to Ince, right-hand corner of the box, trying to make room for a shot. Gets the shot away, deflected it in. It is another for Reading.
This is the FA Cup live on TalkSport. This is what it's all about.
A fixture 123 years old, I was reading today. They meet again in the 4th round of the FA Cup at Deepdale. Preston host Tottenham are underway on TalkSport from 6. Faye Carruthers, your host. Then from 8 live at Old Trafford, Jadon Sancho could feature for Manchester United as they clash with Paul Ince's Reading. Ince back at Old Trafford, a legend on the red side of Manchester. Back-to-back commentary to look forward to later right here on TalkSport. I'm down on the south coast as we take you around the grounds on Game Day Live. I'm your host, Dan Windle. FA Cup 4th round Saturday. Live alongside me, our reporter, Jake Robson.
Thank you very much. Just played the first minute down. It's Southampton 0, Blackpool 0, and a really positive start from the visitors, of course, under new management with Mick McCarthy, and really could have done a bit better from a little opening skirmish that they found themselves in the Southampton box. A well-timed tackle from Bella Kotchap back in the side today. Lianco a minute ago, just as you were coming to me, Dan, messing about with it at the back as well. Southampton, I would say, started a little nervy. Southampton 0, Blackpool 0.
An early FA Cup goal at Ewood Park with TalkSport's Matt Jones.
And it's gone to the visitors. Blackburn 0, Birmingham 1, and it's their army of 4,000 travelling fans that you can hear. A mistake in the Blackburn defence, a really loose pass straight to Raider Kadra, who set his sights from 25 yards and he hit a pretty tame, low, bobbling shot. Thomas Kaminski got a hand to it, but he could only palm it into the roof of the net. And Birmingham, with the first attack and first shot of the game, have the lead. Blackburn 0, Birmingham 1.
Early goals to tell you about also in League 2. Swindon Town 1 up through Jonathan Williams over Gillingham, fighting to get out of the bottom 2 in League 2, looking to stay clear. Their form improving of late under Neil Harris, but they're behind early to Gav Gunning's side. Swindon, he remains in interim charge there. Mansfield Town 1 up over Doncaster Rovers as well early on. Tom Anderson with the goal within the first 60 seconds. What's the start been like in the FA Cup at Craven Cottage with TalkSport's Ollie Klink?
Fulham 0, Sunderland 0. 3 minutes gone here, Dan, and Fulham have been on top so far. They had a chance just a couple of minutes in. Polina was battling with Ahmad in the centre of the park. He nicked the ball off him, and eventually the ball broke for Harry Wilson to try and poke it at goal, but it was a comfortable save in the end for Patterson in the Sunderland goal. But it's certainly been the Premier League side who've been on top so far. Sunderland have hardly seen the ball. I've got to say though, the Sunderland away end is absolutely packed and in brilliant voice away to my left. Great to see so many fans making the trip down from the northeast, and those tinfoil FA Cups that you see every round, they're in full force here at Craven Cottage. This one live over on TalkSport 2. It's Fulham 0, Sunderland 0.
Evening in West London, Ollie. I think we'll join them later on. Goal in Scottish League One. Airdrie 1-up over Alloa Athletic. Callum Fordyce with the goal inside the opening few minutes. Next to Kenilworth Road Someday, isn't it, for League Two side Grimsby Town. There for TalkSport, Alfie Reynolds.
Luton 0, Grimsby 0. Just shy of 3 minutes played here. Nothing major happened out there on the pitch so far. The most entertaining moment in the game so far was 2 seconds in. I'm not exaggerating there. Immediately after the kickoff, the sprinklers went off. So just as the big start happened, as Luton actually, as I'm saying that, have had their first shot at goal by Adebayo, which is then blocked and hooked clear. But yeah, the sprinklers went off immediately after kickoff. That delayed things very slightly. Other than that though, nothing too much to report so far in this game. Over 3 minutes played. It's Luton 0, Grimsby 0.
Gillingham respond straight back in the game in League Two. Swindon Town 1, Gillingham 1. Timothy Dieng with the goal, responding straight away against Swindon. Back-to-back wins, prices for Neil Harris's side, and their fight to stay up in League Two. Starting the afternoon, 2 points off safety. Next to Portman Road, where I'm sure there's an excellent atmosphere, with Alvin Martin alongside Ian Abrahams.
Nearly 5 gone. Ipswich 0, Burnley 0, and the League One side are dominating here after a really good fast start by Kieran McKenna's side. First chance early doors. Jackson down the right hand side slid it in for George Hurst. It wasn't that simple actually for Hurst. He was marked by a defender and couldn't get the shot on target. We've just seen an excellent effort from Marcus Harness just on the edge of the penalty area that clipped the top of Bailey Peacock Carroll's crossbar, and it was the goalkeeper wasn't getting anywhere near it, really, was he? Alvin Martin, winner of the FA Cup in 1980. Ipswich, really bright start.
It's a really good start, aggressive start I'd say as well. They push high up the pitch, they're making Burnley play long, which they don't ordinarily do, and it's not just that, they're playing with a lot of confidence as well. They're getting the ball wide, and Jackson versus Taylor on the right hand side here for Ipswich. He's taking the left back of Burnley all the way back, and he's showing that he's got a bit of pace. He's troubled him in behind. On the other side, Harness is giving Matinho a hard time as well, so they're all up for this game. It's a sellout. There's 24,000 people here and a tremendous atmosphere, and they've responded to it.
Absolutely. 5.5 gone at Portman Road. Ipswich 0, Burnley 0.
A goal in the fourth round of the FA Cup at Craven Cottage. Tell us about it, Ollie Klink.
Well, is there an upset on the cards? Fulham 0, Sunderland 1 with 7 minutes gone, and what a mistake at the back by Issa Diop. He just gave the ball away, and there was Jack Clark steaming onto him in on goal, and he was just able to poke it into the bottom right hand corner. What a start for the side that's 9th in the Championship. This one's live over on TalkSport 2. It's Fulham 0, Sunderland 1.
In League Two, Colchester United improving at Bloomfield's side in front early at Hartlepool United. Just 1 defeat in 5 for Matt Bloomfield's side. Last one, 3 away games on the trot in the 1980s. Looking to do that at this moment in time, and in front early in League Two. Let's bring you up to date with the early exchanges at Ashton Gate in the FA Cup. TalkSport's Lawrence Mora.
Bristol City 0, West Brom 0. 6 minutes on the clock here, and you join me just as Bristol City thought they'd broken through against the Baggies. It was a really well played in the middle of midfield. Scott played a through ball. Sam Bell sprinted onto it, but the linesman's flag went up and stopped his run prematurely before he got his shot away. But Bristol City played West Brom on Boxing Day here. They didn't even lay a glove on them for 90 minutes. But I tell you what, it's much more competitive this afternoon. Both teams going at it, big physical challenges going in, and an absolutely packed out away end for the Baggies. Makes for what should be a pretty lively afternoon. Bristol City 0, West Brom 0.
In Scotland, Morton 1 up over Arbroath. George Oakley with a goal after 4 minutes. Let's get to Hillsborough for the first time this afternoon, this FA Cup 4th round weekend with TalkSport's Alan Biggs.
It's still Sheffield Wednesday 0, Fleetwood 0. Some promising signs from both teams. There's a healthy following of the Cod Army, some several hundred behind the goal to my left. The play is just suspended for a moment for treatment for Sean Rooney. Now, he's an interesting character, back in the Fleetwood team today, just clipped by Marvin Johnson. He's receiving quite prolonged treatment on the field. Rooney it was, he was sent off a month ago against Sheffield Wednesday, then banned for a further 4 matches for appearing to try to pick a fight with Darren Moore on his way off. Well, he could have picked a better opponent than that. It's a somewhat comical incident in some ways. But Fleetwood, interestingly, have lost all 6 games without Rooney, their right back, in the side this season. They'll be hoping he's back on his feet soon. At Hillsborough, it remains Sheffield Wednesday 0, Fleetwood Town 0.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd be keen to exchange blows with the Sheffield Wednesday boss, Darren Moore, anytime soon. In League 2, bottom taking on 4th and its 4th place side Carlisle United with the early lead on the road at Rochdale, and Sutton United have also taken the lead over Harrogate Town in League 2. David Adeboye with the goal after 8 minutes. Into the Championship and the Riverside. How's it going early on? The former Scotland international Chris Owellamo is alongside Graham Courtney.
Yeah, well, we've got 10 on the clock here, Dan, and it's still Middlesbrough 0, Watford 0. Really key game this, of course. Watford in 3rd place, Middlesbrough in 6th. Best chance actually early on was for Middlesbrough, and it was Chuba Akpom. Chris, why didn't he just hit it?
Well, I'm looking at it as a great ball in. Cameron Archer kept it alive. He took the control of the ball. The ball went loose to Akpom, and he's going to take it on. Great defending, Sir Alter, in behind him. Just let him know that he was there. Took him out of his that fluid motion, and he took another touch. Then it was blocked. I have to say, I've been impressed with the possession that Middlesbrough, which you know that you're going to get from them. But too many times, they're too patient with it. They need to go forward. They need to build. That possession is supposed to get them up the pitch. Watford, every chance they get it, they drive through the thirds, and then just that final little bit of qualities let them down. But it is end to end at the minute.
And just briefly, Watford have got, because they've got blue strip, they've got Keenan Davis up front. Are you surprised he's up there on his own?
No, not at all. Big fan. I think very mobile. He's got that presence. He's a brute of a man, but like you say, he'll win his aerial duels. He has to get the support, he has to get the service, but he'll definitely keep the centre-backs of Middlesbrough very active, because he's always in the move, he's communicating, and he does it all well. He links up very well as well, but he has to get the service.
Chance here for Watford, but the ball gets eventually cleared away by the Borough defence. Good game to watch this end to end. 11 on the clock on Teesside. It's Middlesbrough 0, Watford 0.
3 goals inside the opening 9 minutes at the county ground in League 2. Behind early, in front now Gillingham by 2-1 over Swindon Town. William Wright with the goal from the spot next in the Championship to the CBS Arena. We'll see what exchange has been like. TalkSport's Dave Rowe.
Coventry 0, Huddersfield 0. Already a talking point because Huddersfield just won a free kick on the left edge of the penalty area, but they feel that Coventry's Jonathan Panzo should already be sent off. He's been yellow carded in the first 5 minutes for a poor foul on Rodoni on the touchline, and then he's just taken down Rodoni again on the edge of the area. That must have been borderline. The referee kept him on the field of play. Panzo just back from suspension after a red card against Wrexham in the FA Cup. He'll have to watch himself certainly as the game goes on. The free kick has been whacked way over the bar by Dwayne Holmes. Coventry have had just about the better of the early stages. The best move so far, Gyökeres with the hold-up play back to Casey Palmer. Ball fed through looking for Jamie Owen. Huddersfield, though, dealt with that through ball. 10 played, Coventry 0, Huddersfield 0.
Staying in the Championship, and a goal at the MKM Stadium with TalkSport's Andy Buckley.
Yes, Hull City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Aaron Connolly on his 23rd birthday, the goal scorer. A few moments earlier he'd pushed a shot wide of the left-hand post from a mistake inside the Rangers defence, but this time a move that sprang from the right-hand side. The ball broke kindly to him, and Connolly lashed the ball into the roof of the Queen's Park Rangers net. Until then, Queen's Park Rangers have been fairly flat, to be honest with you. Hull had made the brighter start and are deservedly ahead. We've had 11 minutes, Hull City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
Back into the FA Cup, 4th round, and a goal at Ashton Gate. Lawrence Mora.
Bristol City 1, West Brom 0, and it's young Sam Bell who's got it. He was the match winner at Swansea's Liberty Stadium, or the Swansea.com stadium, in the last round, and he has whipped this ball into the far corner of the net. A thunderous finish. Antoine Semenyo left the club yesterday. Sam Bell's taking his place today, and Bristol City, well, they have a new hero at Ashton Gate. His name's Sam Bell. Bristol City 1, West Brom 0.
A real pressure encounter in the Scottish Premiership. Hibs against Aberdeen. Hibs lost 10 of their last 14. Lee Johnson's side in front thanks to Josh Campbell. Aberdeen boss Jim Goodwin, his future discussed this week behind early at Hibs. It's been the latest. We're following the action in League One at the Western Home Stadium this afternoon. There for TalkSport, Alex Biddle.
Yes, it's Peterborough 0, Portsmouth 0. The best chance of the game coming from Peterborough midfielder Kwame Poku. Mason Clark's ball to the right wing was met by Joe Wald. His ball across the 6-yard box should have been headed home by Poku, but he slipped at the vital moment. It's end-to-end stuff here at London Road. 12 minutes gone. Peterborough 0, Portsmouth 0.
Stunning stuff at the county ground. Behind within a minute, Gillingham to Swindon Town. Tom Nichols has just scored their third. Gillingham, Neil Harris's side, back-to-back wins, going for 3 in 3 as they try and drag themselves out of the bottom two in League Two. 3-1 in front now at the county ground inside the opening 15 minutes in League Two. Goals as they go in, of course, this afternoon. Game Day Live with me, host Dan Windle, on TalkSport. Earlier on, it finished in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Accrington Stanley 1, Leeds United 3, Walsall 0, Leicester City 1. Scores from elsewhere: Blackburn 0, Birmingham 1, Bristol City 1, West Brom 0, Fulham 0, Sunderland 1, Ipswich 0, Burnley 0, Luton 0, Grimsby 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Fleetwood 0, Southampton 0, Blackpool 0, of course, underway from 6 o'clock. Preston taking on Spurs. Manchester United against Reading from 8 o'clock. Both those games live here on Talk Sport. St Mary's, that's where I'm based this afternoon. A little chilly on the south coast, but the action so far, Jake Robson, engaging.
And spicy perhaps as well. 14 minutes played, Southampton 0, Blackpool 0. A couple of really good chances for the home side, both from corners. A short one firstly between Perro and Edozie, and instead of putting the ball into the box when they'd finished passing it between themselves, it was to Orsic on the edge of the area. No James Ward-Prowse in the side today, but he was there. He hit it like the midfielder, first time right-footed, and it curled agonisingly wide of Chris Maxwell's right-hand post. And then a few minutes later, nearly turned into his own net by Connolly after Orsic involved again. Some good work down the left, and Perro from that corner, this time with the shot from the edge of the area. So it's obviously a tactic that the home side are going to try and employ to get Chris Maxwell really working early on. But a couple of minutes ago, my goodness, Sekou Mara has had an absolute, I don't know what he thought he was doing. He's tried to close down the goalie, fair enough. He's then lunged in on him, both feet off the ground. He's gone airborne, Dan, and he's caught the goalkeeper. As the goalkeeper's played the ball, he's caught him with the foot that has played the ball. And my goodness me, if he'd caught that standing leg, I don't even want to know what we would have witnessed. He was flying through the air. I guess a yellow card is the right way to go, but my goodness, it was ugly. The away fans over to our right-hand side, as you would imagine, extremely unhappy. Craig Pawson issuing the yellow card. Mara, well, he's going to have to be careful, because if he does that again, it'll be an early bar for him. Southampton 0, Blackpool 0.
I can only think Craig Pawson, the referee, not malicious. It would have been purely accidental, right, Jake? Because he's just trying to close the ball down. His eyes are only fixed on the ball.
Absolutely. But you can obviously endanger a player without it being malicious. But as I say, it was the leg that was in the air, so he should have just clipped the goalkeeper, really. There wasn't much damage done, but my goodness, if he got that wrong, I dread to think what could have happened. Lucky boy, it's Southampton 0, Blackpool 0.
8 wins and a draw so far under Mick Beale at Rangers, in front against St Johnstone at Ibrox. James Tavernier from the spot, and Hibs in that pressure game that I've already touched on at Easter Road this afternoon. 2 up now, a second for Josh Campbell. 2 goals inside 15 minutes. Serious trouble Aberdeen under at this moment in time. Lost 7 of their last 9, including that 6th tier cup tie with Darvel. Let's bring you up to date with the latest at Craven Cottage. Sunderland in front early. What's the response been like from Fulham? Ollie Klink.
Fulham 0, Sunderland 1, 17 minutes gone down. They had a great chance to equalise on 13 minutes. The ball was worked to Andres Pereira on the left-hand side. He delivered a wicked ball in towards the back post, but Adebayo could only head the ball high over the bar. Sunderland have done well though since their opener. They had a penalty shout on 8 minutes. Ahmad jinked his way into the box. He went down under a challenge from Tom Kearney, but there didn't seem to be be too much contact. The Black Cats, though, looking comfortable, looking really dangerous on the counter-attack as well. They're unbeaten, their last 7 on the road, and looking good for their lead here as well. We've just paused for an injury for Ross Stewart, so I'll keep you up to date on that one as well. But you can listen to live commentary of this one over on TalkSport 2. It's Fulham 0, Sunderland 1.
St Mirren yet to win in the league in 2023, in front thanks to Curtis Main by 0-0 over Motherwell, who are winless in 8 in the league in the Scottish Premiership. Airdrie 2 up over Alloa Athletic, also in Scotland. And a new era beginning at Forest Green Rovers under Duncan Ferguson. They're 1 up at Shrewsbury Town, fighting for their lives in League One. Jordan Garrick with the goal after 18 minutes. So life starting well under Duncan Ferguson at Forest Green Rovers, in front early on inside the opening 20 minutes at Shrewsbury Town. Goal in League One at the Western Home Stadium with TalkSport's Alex Biddle.
Yes, it's Peterborough United 1, Portsmouth 0, and it's Johnson Clark Harris poking in from so close range, the captain, but capping off a spell of 5 minutes of dominance from the host. Portsmouth had a chance at the other end, but it broke out wide to the right. A dominant Joe Ward crossing in again between the goalkeeper and the defence, tapping in easy goal. At London Road, it's Peterborough United 1, Portsmouth 0.
Let's get back to Craven Cottage. For Sunderland, a concerning injury. Ollie Klink.
Yeah, Fulham 0, Sunderland 1, but we're just seeing Ross Stewart right in front of me being taken off the pitch on a stretcher. He's got his hands on his head as well. He's Sunderland's top scorer this season with 11 goals. That will be a very, very concerning injury for Tony Mowbray and his side. They're 9th in the Championship and pushing for the playoffs as well, and he's been a key player in a part of that. So concerning news for Sunderland fans. Ross Stewart making his way off the pitch on a stretcher. Abdullah Barr has come on in his place, but they still lead here. It's Fulham 0, Sunderland 1.
Ollie, thank you very much. Yeah, Ross Stewart already spent a spell on the sidelines with injury earlier this season. Sunderland's form suffered because of it. Ross Stewart in their side. They're a much better side at Championship level. That will be hugely concerning for the Black Cats fans, those that have made a significant trip south to Craven Cottage this afternoon. The latest from Kenilworth Road, Grimsby Town from League 2, enjoying their day there. How are they getting on, Alfie Reynolds?
Yeah, we've played 18.5 minutes, still Luton 0, Grimsby 0. Luton have had the ball in the back of the net. Dan Potts heading home from a nice delivery on the left, but the assistant's flag went up straight away for offside, and the home side are looking the more dangerous. Adebayo shooting over just before you cross for me. As for Grimsby, they packed out the away end to my left-hand side as they push forward at the moment. There's an offside there anyway. Yeah, Grimsby have looked like they could make things awkward when given the opportunity. Any throw in the final third or free kick in the Luton half is being used to launch it into the box. So far though, Luton looking the more likely to break the deadlock. We've played 19 minutes. It's Luton 0, Grimsby 0.
Just a couple of weeks out, aren't we, from Super Bowl 57, live from Arizona on TalkSport. So this Sunday night, find out who will be getting and going for the ultimate prize when TalkSport brings you exclusive commentary of the AFC Championship game, a replay of last year's thriller between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs. It's the two best quarterbacks in football, so who comes out on top, Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes? Find out from 11 p.m. tomorrow night right here on TalkSport. Next we go in the FA Cup to Portman Road for the latest with Alvin Martin alongside Ian Abrahams.
Ipswich 0, Burnley 0. We've got 20 minutes on the clock as Burnley line up a free kick with Scott Twine, and it's a good strike as well from Twine, good part of 30 yards out. MK Dons fans will know from last season he can hit them from there. This is straight down the throat of the Ipswich goalkeeper. And to be fair, Burnley have come back into the game and quietened Ipswich down after that fast start chance for Hurst and Harness hitting the top of the crossbar. Neither side of really Alvin Martin created an opportunity since then, but you do feel with every minute that goes by Burnley are getting more and more comfortable in this game.
Yeah, well, I think what we've got is two teams who are knocking the ball about. I think both coaches demand that their teams take risks in the final third, so you can see maybe a mistake somewhere along the line leading to the first goal, but look, it's a really good game. I think the individuals that Burnley have got, they've got to get the ball to them more. Tellers had one moment, he brought a ball out the sky, flicked it over somebody's head, played it on the volley out to this left hand side. They've got to get the ball to him more.
Yeah, he's brilliant. Can I just ask you, by the way, I mean, we've seen lots of changes today from Burnley, who, by the way, have got a corner on the near side, so we'll keep an eye on that one for you. Plenty forward inside the Ipswich penalty area for this one to be aimed at. It's not beating the man at the near post, which frustrates me greatly every time it happens. Alvin, in 1981, when West Ham were promoted, or it wasn't the FA Cup final, but it was the League Cup final you reached, surely playing your strongest team and winning week in, week out, that momentum carries you forward, no?
Yeah, well, that's the way it was. I think things have changed since then. I think there was only one substitute in them days as well. But look, it's the philosophy that the clubs have got now. It runs through the whole club. So, if you're playing or not playing, you know exactly what your manager wants from you. I think that's the same with Ipswich and Burnley.
Absolutely. Well, Ipswich gone up the other end and won a corner as well. It's very much like that at the moment, a bit of a basketball type of a match. 22 gone, Ipswich 0, Burnley 0.
Deadlock broken here on the south coast. TalkSport's Jake Robson.
22 minutes played, Southampton 1, Blackpool 0, and what a goal it was by Romain Perraud. A left-footed free kick. No James Ward-Prowse in the side today, no problem, because Perraud has come up trumps. It was a really, really nicely hit ball as well. Orsic was there as well. He offered the right-footed option. He started his run-up, he stopped, and then Perraud came to the ball. He cut across it, and it was heading straight for Chris Maxwell, and just at the last minute it faded away into the right hand corner. One that made the goalie, I have to say, look really silly, but I'm not really sure what he could have done about it. It was a wicked moving away from him, and a brilliant free kick from Romain Perraud, a third goal of the season. It's Southampton 1, Blackpool 0.
Ball going one way and then all of a sudden goes the other. Chris Maxwell, the Blackpool keeper, Jake, with absolutely no chance.
What's the saying? He's gone down the district and it's gone down Bakerloo or something like that. He's just got.
I've never heard that one before.
He's taken the wrong line.
Come back to you when you get that.
Moose will know, but yeah, he was going one way and it went absolutely the other way. No chance for the goalie. A brilliant free kick, and let's not forget, this is Southampton's left back as well taking that. Brilliant, and I have to say they deserve it as well so far. They've been the better side after a couple of wobbles in the opening few minutes. Southampton deserving it, and they lead 1-0.
Jay, thank you very much. In League One, starting the weekend, 1 point off safety. Morecambe, Derek Adams' side defeat to Ipswich in midweek. They're first in 4. They're in front over at Bristol Rovers. Daniel Crowley with a goal after 20 minutes. And in League 2, Scott Lindsay finally taking charge of his first game at Crawley, in front against Salford City thanks to Dominic Telford's goal after 25 minutes in West Sussex. Let's bring you the latest from Lancashire and Ewood Park with TalkSport's Matt Jones.
25 minutes gone here, and a fizzing cross into the box from Birmingham and a chance to shoot which is blocked away, but generally it's been Blackburn who have been the better team since going behind. They've had 2 or 3 chances and forced a few saves out of Neil Etheridge, the best of them. An effort from Brereton Diaz from 25 yards, which the keeper did well to get down to his left and palm away. It has to be said though, the only other chance that Birmingham have had, they were very unlucky not to make it 2-0. A terrible bit of goalkeeping by Thomas Kaminski. The shot once again from Kadra, who got the opener on 3 minutes. He was wide in the area. He tried to force it towards the near post, and somehow it managed to go through Kaminski's legs. It hit just about his boot and scrambled wide of the far post. So a bit of a let-off there for Blackburn, but they are beginning to get back into this game. 26 minutes gone. It's Blackburn 0, Birmingham 1.
Matt, thank you. Carl Corbrand has set some steep standards at West Brom since going into the Hawthorns. You won't be pleased. They're behind in the FA Cup. So what's their response been like at Ashton Gate? Lawrence Mora.
Mediocre, to be fair. Bristol City 1, West Brom 0. 24 on the clock here, and it really has been Bristol City who've looked brighter, shown far more intensity than Albion so far. The Sam Bell's goal on 12 minutes, obviously the goal that separates the two teams. The best chance for the visitors came on around 18 minutes, and as they broke down the left-hand side, the ball came in, and Thomas Roggett couldn't quite keep his shot down. The ball sailed over the bar. They have, though, forced successive corners in front of Bristol City's south stand as they try and build a little bit of pressure against the Robins. But with 25 on the clock, it's Bristol City 1, West Brom 0.
At Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday certainly dominating the ball. Are they doing enough with it? Alan Biggs.
Well, if anybody's going to score, I think it'll be Sheffield Wednesday in this game. It's still Wednesday 0, Fleetwood Town 0. The home team have a free kick right on the edge of the area. Josh Windass was tripped, and well, to me from here and further away than the referee, it looked as if it was right on the line. If it was on the line, it should have been a penalty, but we'll go with the referee on this occasion. Fleetwood are lining up to defend this free kick. Earlier, Malik Wilkes with a great run down the right and a cut inside had a shot deflected for a corner. There was also a headed chance for Dennis Adeniran for the home team here. The free kick about to be taken by Josh Windass, who was tripped. It's just outside the area on the left hand side of goal. Will this produce a breakthrough? If you just want to stay with me for this, here he comes, curls it in, right footed, the keeper saves it, comes out to Wilkes. Wilkes' shot is blocked, and Sheffield Wednesday are building up the pressure here. It's Wednesday 0, Fleetwood 0.
Goals to tell you about in the National League quickly. Dorking Wanderers, some story, 12 promotions in 23 years. Mark White, manager and owner. But they're struggling of late, no wins in their last 3 and behind to Solihull Moors at home at this moment in time. Andrew Dallas with the goal after 17 minutes, and Altrincham behind to Boreham Wood. Will Evans with the goal for the visitors. Let's bring you up to date with the latest in the Championship. Huge game between 2 of the top 6. There for us, Chris Wellamo alongside Graham Courtney.
Yeah, 28 and a half gone here on Teesside. Still Middlesbrough 0, Watford 0. And I tell you what, it's a really, really good game here. And early on it was nearly all Middlesbrough. But certainly after about the quarter of an hour mark, it's been good end-to-end football. And really, Chris, we saw just a few minutes ago Watford ploughing forward. Matthias Martins, he's got a really, really good chance. Got it all wrong.
Yeah, has to do better. You know, I think the way that the game's panning out, I think Watford are just sitting in, playing that counter-attack game. Obviously Middlesbrough using the ball well, but then when they intercept it, they go from back to front very, very quickly with quality. The ball into Kieran Davis wasn't great. It's an excellent first touch that put Martins in. He's running in 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, done everything right, but the contact, that final contact, just trying to put it into the bottom right hand corner, just got under the ball, scuffed it, and it went over the bar. Has to be better.
You saw the Borough last week at Sunderland. They lost 2-0. What have you made of the Borough so far? A, in that game, and B, in this one?
Well, they're moving the ball a lot quicker. They're controlling the game, I've got to say, with the ball. They're getting into the attack, and third Marcus Foss had that opportunity that I'm saying that he should go across the goal. You know, he's punched it at a good height for Backman to get the save, but they are controlling this game. But I think Slaven Bilic has set his Watford side up to expect that and to allow Middlesbrough to have as much of the ball, because when they get it, like you say, they intercept it, they break from back to front with great quality, but in numbers as well. Graham,
when you look at the stats, you all sort of knew it was going to be a tight game. Both of these sides with 12 wins so far this season, so it was always going to be tight, and that's the way it is at the moment. Half an hour gone here. The Borough 0, Watford 0.
A second goal at Ashton Gate. Which way's it gone? Lawrence Mora.
Bristol City at the double. Bristol City 2, West Brom 0, and this time it's another academy product who's got the goal. Alex Scott sliding in the 6-yard box to put the ball home for Mark Sykes-Cross. It was a terrific move as well from Bristol City. They nicked the ball by Naismith in the middle of the pitch, played in Sykes down the down the right-hand channel. His ball was inch perfect across the 6-yard box, and there was Alex Scott sliding in to score. So Bristol City 2, West Brom 0.
Doubling their lead, Mansfield Town, thanks to Alfie Kilgore, 2 up against Doncaster Rovers in League 2. Nigel Clough's side unbeaten in their last 10 versus Doncaster, set to extend that good run over their opposition, it seems, at this moment in time. Back into the Championship, to the CBS Arena next on Game Day Live on TalkSport with TalkSport reporter Dave Rowe.
It's Coventry 0, Huddersfield 0 as we approach the half-hour mark. Coventry certainly on top in terms of possession, albeit yet to create a really clear-cut chance. The best moment, a corner on 15 taken by Bidwell from the right-hand side, Colin towards the far post, all sorts of pushing and shoving in the area. It went to the far post where Callum Doyle headed wide. We saw a surging run by Victor Gyökeres from a throw out by keeper Ben Wilson. Gyökeres fitting the ball across the penalty area, no takers there, and Gus Hamer curling over the bar as Coventry fire a ball into the box once again with Palmer, and that one is over the bar by McNally. Coventry on top here. Huddersfield with one chance. Holmes cross from the right-hand side, flick headed by Jordan Rhodes. Comfortable though for Ben Wilson. Coventry 0, Huddersfield 0.
Dave, thank you very much. It's just not going to plan at this moment in time, as if a QPR boss Neil Critchley next to the MKM Stadium with Andy Buckley.
Half an hour gone. Hull City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. They've got a free kick. It's punched away actually by the Hull goalkeeper Matt Ingram at the expense of a QPR corner, their first of the match. Aaron Connolly, a real live wire for Hull. He's given them a new lease of life. His first goal for the club on his home debut, his full home debut on loan from Brighton on his birthday as well. QPR fairly quiet as an attacking force, so far, vulnerable in defence as well. And Seri, a real class act for Hull in midfield. Hull 1, QPR 0.
The goal in Scotland in the Scottish Championship, Wraith Rovers leading through Lewis Vaughan against Inverness. Caledonian Thistle 7th against 6th, starting the weekend. Those two colliding this afternoon. Let's bring up to also in our featured game in League One on Game Day Live on TalkSport with TalkSport reporter Alex Biddle.
Yes, Dan, it's Peterborough United 1, Portsmouth 0. Johnson Clark-Harris putting the hose ahead 18 minutes in. The Peterborough captain tapping in. Darren Ferguson's side should have had another shortly before as well. Poku slipping, failing to head home Joe Ward's cross. And Peterborough look dangerous down at the right-hand side. Every attack looks a goal-scoring opportunity. Portsmouth have had the chances, though. End-to-end stuff here at the Western Home Stadium at half an hour point. It's Peterborough United 1, Portsmouth 0.
Next to Ewood Park, because we've had another goal in the FA Cup. TalkSport's Matt Jones.
It's all square. Blackburn 1, Birmingham 1, and to be honest, it had been coming. A fizzing shot from Harry Pickering from inside the area, brilliantly saved by Neil Etheridge, who somehow managed to tip the ball onto the bar. It came back out. Gallagher had a go at it. He couldn't force it home, but then it landed in front of Bradley Dack, and he could not miss from maybe 2 yards at most out. It was an open goal, and he just nodded home to make it all square. 33 minutes on the clock. Blackburn 1, Birmingham 1.
Latest in the fourth round of the FA Cup, then Blackburn 1, Birmingham 1, Bristol City 2, West Brom 0, Fulham 0, Sunderland 1. Ross Stewart off injured though for the visitors. Ipswich 0, Burnley 0, Luton 0, Grimsby Town 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Fleetwood 0, Southampton 1, Blackpool 0. 6 o'clock live on TalkSport, Preston against Spurs. 8 o'clock again live here on TalkSport Road, Old Trafford for Manchester United against Reading. And the latest in the 3 games taking place in the Championship: Coventry 0, Huddersfield 0, Hull 1, QPR 0. Borough 0, Watford 0. Back shortly here on TalkSport as we take you around the grounds this afternoon.
FA Cup live on TalkSport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Welcome to the Rosique Hotel.
Hello. We're a little early, but thought we might take a dip in the pool before we check in.
Of course. Sorry, Mrs. Cook, but it looks like your stay isn't for another 5 months.
Yes, that's right.
Like getting your money's worth? Enjoy a freshly prepared cheeseburger. Just £1.19. Part of the McDonald's Saver menu. From 11 a.m, price and participation may vary.
Oof, Muller like cherry, toffee flavour, and even flipping banana and custard flavour. Go on, lighten up those dark nights. Find your flavour today.
5-minute bell. 5 furlongs to go. 5-1 winner. And now, 5 bets in a bundle. When it comes to racing action, a lot can happen on a Saturday. And with new racing bet bundles from Coral, you can get a bundle of 5 bets for double the value or more. Choose a £2 classic or £5 premium. New racing bet bundles, only from Coral. 18 plus UK and online only. Ends 1st of October 23. Real money purchase of £2 or £5 to get a racing bet bundle. 5 times £1 or 5 times £2. Restrictions and T's and C's apply. Take time to think.
FA Cup live on TalkSport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Reasons to like TalkSport. 1, 2, 3. Football, golf and cricket, your season ticket. A punt on a whippet and goals. A bit of Super Alley, the dance at Alley Pally. The next at Abbey Valley and Grand Green Bowls. Addy on the Depot, the old firm life from Glasgow. Leather on the Willow, plus Perry Groves. Premier League footballers, runners, riders, bowlers. Lots of angry callers and anecdotes.
Don't be a blockhead. Listen to TalkSport on DAB Digital Radio 1089 and 1053 AM, on the app and on your smart speaker. TalkSport.
A goal at the Riverside to tell you about in the Championship. Chris Owellamo is alongside Graham Courtney.
It's Middlesbrough 1, Watford 0. What a really, really good game this is, by the way. Talk about end-to-end football. But a terrific build-up here by Cameron Archer. He's on loan at the Borough from Aston Villa, and he's just got pace to burn. And Chris, he made it, and Chuba Akpom is the player who's got the ball in the back of the net. But actually, Cameron Archer, so far, the last 10 minutes, he's been untouchable, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been lively, hasn't he? His movement, his intelligence, he's always asking that question in behind. I think it was Giles with just a little ball down the left channel, and it was a running race between Archer and Camara. And I've got to say, Camara should have done better. Yeah. He's going to get to the ball first. He's tried to just, I think, put out a play or take a touch. It went under his legs and in behind. Archer was onto it. Then it was basically trying to chase him. Archer then took too big a touch. You know that Backman came out, he's claimed it, but they've came together, the balls came loose. Akpom, I'm thinking he's going to put it in the back of the net first time. He doesn't, he takes a touch. I don't know if it was a poor attempt at goal, but it goes up in the air. And then there's 2 players on the line and he still heads it. into the corner of the goal. You know what? That's what it's all about. You know, he's breaking his neck to go up there and support Archer, and then, like you say, he got his just rewards.
And actually, Cameron Archer had another good chance only 4 to 5 minutes before that, where perhaps he should have done better.
No, you know, it was he made it all himself. You know, he's on his own. It's an excellent turn. He rolls the centre back. I think it was Cathcart at the time. He got in behind, and again, he tries to pass it into the bottom corner. I think it was a great save by Backman, but I think if you put a little bit more on it, that's in the back of the net. But he's been outstanding. Yeah,
he's certainly the player of the game at the moment, who's catching the eye. And Chuba Akpom, with that goal for Middlesbrough, I tell you what, he's a rejuvenated player under Michael Carrick as well. It's good to watch here at the Riverside Stadium. We have got 38 minutes on the clock. Middlesbrough 1, Watford 0.
14 goals this season now for Chuba Akpom, revitalised, as Graham rightly said, under the Borough boss Michael Carrick. In the National League, Dagenham Redbridge down to 10 men and behind. Jordan Maguire-Drew from the spot, giving Yeovil Town the lead on the road. And a big game in the National League, 5th hosting 3rd, Barnet taking on Chesterfield. It's Barnet in front, Nicky Kabamba, with the goal. 11 points off the top 4. Barnet chasing one of those sides, including Chesterfield, in front at home though. Let's bring up to date with the latest here at St Mary's. Interesting game, Jake Robson.
How about I turn my mic on? 37 on the clock. It's Southampton 1, Blackpool 0. A really good couple of chances for the visitors as well, who haven't really been in the game, apart from in the real opening couple of minutes. Just after the goal, Yates with a chance that was well saved in the end by Willie Caballero. And then straight after that, Lyons with a brilliant run. He went past 3 players, sitting down Lavia in the process. There was no power behind a very weak left-footed shot from about 25 yards out. Real shame for the visitors. And then a couple of minutes ago, a brilliant run by Dozy this time. Him and Orsic have been creating all sorts of problems down the flanks. He pulled it back to Elianusi, whose shot was blocked. I have to say, Dan, the writing somewhat on the wall for Blackpool if they can't get their act together and try and muster something towards the end of this first half. Southampton have made all the running so far. As I said, Orsic really good, and Adozi down the wings. They need to find something between now, you feel, and half time. But just before we go, isn't it great to see Mick McCarthy barking the orders from his dugout over there? I don't know, is that an unfashionable opinion? Are you allowed to say that? But I mean,
Terry Powell alongside him is experienced number 2. Seeing them back in the game, it feels right to me.
Feels safe, doesn't it? Anyway, 39 on the clock. It's Southampton 1, Blackpool 0.
On the field, Southend in the National League not going bad at all. 1 point off the playoffs in 8th. Off the field, the club facing a winding up petition with HMRC. Difficult. They're behind to Eastleigh. Alfie Lloyd with the goal after 34 minutes. Notts County 1, Halifax Town 0. Also the latest in the National League, Notts County enjoying their best start ever to a league season in front. Langstaff with the goal after 38 minutes. Exeter City in front on the road at MK Dons in League One. Let's bring up to date with the latest at Craven Cottage in the FA Cup 4th round this afternoon with TalkSport's Ollie Klink.
Fulham 0, Sunderland 1. 5 minutes to go till the break. We've just seen a Kurzawa header go wide from a Fulham corner, and they're controlling possession at the moment, Dan, and we've seen a couple of chances for them too. Just before the half-hour mark, a lovely effort from Harry Wilson. He cut in from the right-hand side and tried to bend one into the top left-hand corner, but it whistled just past the post. The home fans also screamed for a penalty just before that Wilson chance. Andreas Pereira collected the ball inside the box and was barged into by Abdullah Bar, but referee Michael Salisbury wasn't interested whatsoever. As Sunderland break into the box, and this could be another chance. It's just wide from Ahmad. They broke into the box. It was laid back for Ahmad. He was just to the right-hand side of goal, and he's put it wide of the right-hand post. They're looking really dangerous on the counter-attack, Sunderland, and they still lead here. This one's live over on TalkSport 2. 5 minutes to go till half-time. It's Fulham 0, Sunderland 1.
Giovanni Brown with that goal for Exeter City, I should say, from the spot in front of Stadium MK. Never won Exeter at Stadium MK in the club's history, chasing that victory this afternoon. Almost 40 minutes gone at Kenilworth Road, and Grimsby Town still in the game, Alfie Reynolds.
Yeah, approaching the final 5 minutes of the half. It's still level here. Luton 0, Grimsby 0. Luton, I have to say, in the latter part of this first half have been starting to assert their dominance. It's felt like a goal has been coming for them. They're dominating possession and heaping pressure on Grimsby. Jordan Clark in particular in the Luton midfield starting to have a big influence on the game. Some impressive contributions contributions from him, but other than a few corners and some shots over the bar, there hasn't really been any clear-cut opportunities. Grimsby, though, the League Two side, they're sitting deep when out of possession. So far, they have been able to keep Luton out. Into the final 5 minutes of the first half at Kenilworth Road, it's Luton 0, Grimsby 0.
In League One, have it down here that Simon Eastwood, the Oxford United keeper, has put through his own net. I need to see that one. Own goal. Burton Albion 1, Oxford United 0. Let's bring up to date the latest at Portman Road as we edge towards half-time. Alvin Martin is alongside Ian Abrahams.
3.5 to the break. Ipswich 0, Burnley 0. As Ipswich go looking for a goal towards the end of the half. Decent crossing is just about headed away towards the far side, but Ipswich do keep it alive just by that byline, and swing the cross into the middle, looking for Hurst, who's just crowded out. It might come towards the edge of the penalty area and Burnley will bring it away, but the best chances you were last with actually went to Ipswich. Caden Jackson, it was a cross, not a shot really, it was drifting, and Bailey Peacock Farrell turned it over. But Alvin Martin, FA Cup winner with West Ham in 1980, is alongside me. Ipswich look like they're going to be the masters of their own destruction here, because they're playing out from the back. Sometimes even the defenders play it to the goalkeeper from a goal kick, and they're being picked off time and again by Burnley, aren't they?
Yeah, we see a lot of teams doing it. You know, Manchester City do it, Arsenal do it, all the top teams do it now. It's being good enough to do it as well, and I think both managers demand that of their players. But look, I think what we are seeing is a really good football game here. Tactically, it's very intriguing. Technically, it's very good. Just the final third needs to improve from both sides. You just sense that really Burnley have the better quality on both flanks. Teller on that right-hand side and Shalenoff on this left-hand side. I've got the beating of their fullbacks, and you wouldn't be surprised to see one of them maybe create or score a goal.
Would you like to play that from the back, you and Billy Bonds?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's the way to go.
Yeah, but not 40 years ago.
It's okay until you make a mistake and it leads to a game.
Absolutely.
A goal, sorry.
2 to the break. Ipswich 0, Burnley 0.
We know Alvin Martin could do it all. Deadlock not broken yet at Portman Road, though. Should mention Burnley have won just 2 of 21 visits to Portman Road. Next to Ewood Park. A game right now on a knife edge with TalkSport's Matt Jones.
It really is. Just a minute to go until half-time, and it's still Blackburn 1, Birmingham 1. And I'd say that the Blackburn tempo and intensity has dropped a little bit since they got that equaliser just over 10 minutes ago, to the extent that Birmingham have come very, very close to regaining the lead. A cross in from the right, which was met by Lukas Djukovic. Really good diving header. You don't see many of them in this day and age, but it was very well tipped around the post by Kaminski, atoning for that earlier error, which led to the Birmingham equaliser. The hosts and the home fans beginning to get a little bit frustrated with the way their team are playing and how ponderous they've been on the ball at times, but they're very much still in this tie, as you say, all to play for. 20 seconds to go until the break. It's Blackburn 1, Birmingham 1.
We've got something significant for you at Kenilworth Road. TalkSport's Alfie Reynolds.
Well, the upset is on. Luton 0, Grimsby 1. League 2 Grimsby, against the run of play in this first half, have taken a lead with just a couple of minutes of normal time still to play at the end of the opening 45 minutes. It came from a corner. Gavin Holohan rising highest, heading back across goal, and it's found its way into the net, sparking wild, joyous celebrations amongst the Grimsby support over to my left-hand side. Luton have been the better side in the first half, but they have fallen behind. It's Luton 0, Grimsby 1.
Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. That is why the FA Cup will always delivers moments like that. I should say Grimsby Town have won both previous FA Cup ties with Luton. Maybe should have expected this was coming at Kenilworth Road. Alfie Reynolds, thank you very much. Second goal in League One at the Western Home Stadium. TalkSport's Alex Biddle.
Yes, and it's Peterborough 2, Portsmouth 0. It's Johnson Clark-Harris, the Peterborough captain, from the spot, slotting home to the right of Portsmouth goalkeeper Matt Macey. And it was Ephron Mason-Clark who was tripped at the edge of the box. The hosts have all of the play, attack after attack, coming down the right-hand side. Joe Ward is having an absolute blinder. Not long to go until the break. It's Peterborough 2, Portsmouth 0.
Earlier on TalkSport, on the TalkSport network, it finished Accrington Stanley 1, Leeds United 3, Walsall 0, Leicester City 1. Latest in the FA Cup fourth round this Saturday: Blackburn 1, Birmingham 1, Bristol City 2, West Brom 0, Fulham 0, Sunderland 1, Ipswich 0, Burnley 0, Luton Town 0, Grimsby Town of League 2 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Fleetwood 0, Southampton 1, Blackpool 0, Preston against Spurs live from Ada here on TalkSport. Manchester United against Reading from Old Trafford, also live here TalkSport from 8 o'clock. In the Scottish Premiership, Hibs 2, Aberdeen 0, Rangers 1, St Johnstone 0, Ross County 1, Kilmarnock 0, St Mirren 1, Motherwell 0. 3 games to tell you about in the Championship. Latest: Coventry 0, Huddersfield 0, Hull City 1, QPR 0, Middlesbrough 1, Watford 0. In League 1 this lunchtime, it finished earlier. Charlton Athletic 1, Bolton Wanderers 2. Nearing half-time in the other games, Burton Albion 1, Oxford 0, Cheltenham 0, Port Vale 0, Lincoln 0, Cambridge United 0, MK Dons 0, Exeter City 1, Morecambe 1, Bristol Rovers 0, Peterborough United 2, Portsmouth 0, Shrewsbury Town 0, Duncan Ferguson's Forest Green Rovers 1. And in League 2, AFC Wimbledon 0, Stockport County 0, Barrow 0, Northampton 0, Crawley 2, Salford City 0, Harrogate 0, Sutton United 1, Hartlepool 0, Colchester 1, Mansfield Town 2, Doncaster Rovers 0, Rochdale 0, Carlisle United 1, Swindon Town in front early, 3-1 behind now to Gillingham. And it's Tranmere Rovers 0, Leyton Orient 0, and on the stroke of half-time, another goal at the Riverside Stadium with the former Scotland international Crystal Wellamo alongside Graham Courtney.
And it is Middlesbrough 2, Watford 0, and it's a really, really good finish by Marcus Fors, who, to be honest, until Michael Carrick actually arrived at this football club, he couldn't get a look in, but he's finished it really, really well. And Chris, nice build-up as well, and this is what actually the Borough deserve.
No, they've grown into the game, they're using the ball well, but they're getting into that attacking third. Marcus Force, it's an excellent first touch, and I thought the opportunity passed him by. He took an extra touch when Backman came out, but what he did, he just opened up the goal a little bit more, took it by the defender, and like you say, he just cut it back on himself into that bottom right hand corner.
It was one of those where you're going, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Get your shot away. But an excellent finish, and like you say, Michael Carrick will be absolutely delighted, because they wanted a reaction after Sunday against Sunderland, and that's exactly what he's got.
And there goes the half-time whistle actually here. Chuba Akpom with the opening goal for the Borough. Took a while to come, but we got it after 36 minutes, and it was terrific build-up by Cameron Archer. He's certainly the player. Well, he's here on loan from Aston Villa till the end of the season, and he's certainly been catching the eye in this one this afternoon, Chris.
Yeah, he's been excellent. I think he rocked his ankle, and we were thinking he's going to come off. He tried to.
He doesn't want to come off, though, does he?
He doesn't want to come off. He's came here to prove a point, to get the minutes in the legs, and like you say, he's been outstanding. I think all across the board they've used the ball better. They're looking the threat, the intensity in their play without the ball. They're organised. Watford have had opportunities, and they'll be, like you say, Slaven Bilic will be saying you have to take them. You're not going to get many, so when they come you have to put them in the back of the net.
Been a great 45 here. So Chuba Akpom and Marcus Fors with the goals so far, and at the moment, well, I tell you what, the Borough looking good. They're in 6th place, Watford in 3rd place, but I tell you at the moment, Borough at the moment are going to be heading home with 3 points. It's half-time here at the Riverside Stadium. Middlesbrough 2, Watford 0.
Michael Carrick's side 7 wins in 8 in the league before defeat to Sunderland last weekend over on TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL. It seems back to business on Teesside. Half-time here at St Mary. Floodlights very much starting to take effect now. Alongside me, TalkSport's Jake Robson.
Southampton 1, Blackpool 0. A fairly comfortable opening 45 for Nathan Jones' men, who more or less spent most of the half within 30-odd yards from the Blackpool goal. And they made it count 22 minutes in from, it has to be said, a rather unlikely source. Romain Perrault with a wickedly swerving free kick that made Chris Maxwell look a little bit silly, while also having no chance all at the same time. The left-back cutting across a free kick on the right-hand side of the area, and the keeper thought he had it covered, and then just at the last minute the ball faded away to his right-hand side viciously and into the side of the net. No Ward-Prowse, no problem, the midfielder having had the afternoon off. Meanwhile, Blackpool, they've huffed and puffed, not really created enough. A couple of half chances really, a weak shot a bit early on, and one towards the end of the half as well. They knocked Forest out, of course, didn't they, in the last round. They've not beaten more than one top flight side in an FA Cup campaign since they won it in 1953, and they're going to have to go some to try and reprieve that feat here today. Southampton 1, Blackpool 0.
Jake, thank you. Half-time in the FA Cup at Craven Cottage, and work for our Premier League host to do, Ollie Klink.
Indeed, Dan. Fulham 0, Sunderland 1 at half-time here, and Sunderland have Daniel Ballard to thank. An incredible goal line clearance has kept them here ahead at the break. Fulham's Manor Solomon drove to the byline on the left-hand side. He dug out a delicious cross, and there was Andres Pereira with no one around him on the volley, and somehow Ballard was there to stop the ball from ending up in the back of the net. Sunderland deserved their lead, though. It came in just the 6th minute. Jack Clark nicking the ball off Issa Diop, and tucking it into the bottom corner, and they've limited Fulham to just a few chances. So at the moment here at Craven Cottage, we're on for a 4th round upset. You can find out if the Black Cats can pull it off over on TalkSport 2, where there'll be live commentary of the second half with Alex Crook and Perry Groves. And at the moment here, it's Premier League Fulham 0, Championship Sunderland 1.
TalkSport app available from all your normal providers. The best way to stay across all the action on the TalkSport network. Simple to download. You can swipe between TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Half-time whistle's gone at Kenilworth Road. You've got yourself the story at this moment in time. TalkSport's Alfie Reynolds.
Luton 0, Grimsby 1. The upset is on here. Grimsby Town of League 2. They lead Luton. They've had to sit back and defend resolutely. Luton, in all honesty, looked the far more likely to score throughout the first half. But with just minutes remaining, Gavin Holohan headed in from a corner. The Grimsby fans at the other end of Kenilworth Road went wild. They are starting to dream. As for Luton, Potts had headed in earlier in the half. That was quickly ruled out for offside, and other than that, despite their dominance, Luton couldn't work any real clear-cut chances. Grimsby haven't reached the 5th round of the FA Cup since 1996. They're 45 minutes away. Half-time here, it's Luton 0, Grimsby 1.
Next, TalkSport go to Portman Road, half-time with the former FA Cup winner Alvin Martin alongside TalkSport's Ian Abrahams.
And it's Ipswich 0, Burnley 0 the first half, which was entertaining to a point, tactically very, very good, but short on real chances. The best of them fell to Marcus Harness, who picked the ball up of a Burnley player on the edge of the penalty area, tried to lob over Peacock Farrell. It hit the crossbar, top of the crossbar, and went over. George Hurst had one of the other best chances. At the other end, Jay Rodriguez fired high and wide, and not very handsome for Burnley, who really failed to test the Ipswich goalkeeper at all in the first period. Alvin Martin, I suppose you play in a lot of cup ties that are like this, where at half-time it's very, very tight, and the second half decides everything.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you just got to keep going and try to forge chances and take them when they come along. But look, I've been really impressed with Ipswich. I think they've matched Burnley, a team who are playing fantastic football and with lots of confidence at the moment. They've matched them, and they've gone for it. They haven't played defensive. They've really looked at knocking the ball about. I'm surprised how well they've played, Moose, because he did make, McKenna's made a lot of changes. So normally that disrupts the flow of your team. I think it's testament to the squad that he's got. Maybe that they've got a squad that hopefully if they can get through this tie or even but certainly perform as well as they have, they can go on and get themselves promoted, because they look like a team that the higher division they play in, the more they'll relish it.
And there's a big crowd here today as well, and I don't suppose, Alvin, either manager will want to replay.
No, that's right. I think maybe coming into the last 20 minutes, if it was still level, that you might see a bit more risk taken in the final third.
Yeah, absolutely. Half time here then at Portman Road, still to be decided. It's Ipswich 0, Burnley 0.
Fine margins, it seems, in Lancashire. Half-time at Ewood Park with TalkSport's Matt Jones.
Yeah, really entertaining game, but it is all square at the Blake. Blackburn 1, Birmingham 1. Blackburn going behind after just 3 minutes. Really poor from them, really. It was like they hadn't switched on. A poor pass in midfield, straight to Raider Kadra. He had to go from 25 yards. It didn't have much pace on it, but Thomas Kaminski diving low to his right-hand side. Couldn't keep it out. A palm on it, but that only seemed to divert the ball into the roof of the net. They could have gone 2-0 down as well. A few minutes later, when Kaminski almost let one through his legs from Kadra, but just about got a boot on it and scrambled the ball wide for a corner. Blackburn, though, did get back in it on 33 minutes, and to be honest, it was probably deserved. Brereton Diaz had a couple of shots saved before Bradley Dack forced into an open goal after Rankin Costello had a really good shot, brilliantly saved by Neil Etheridge. He tipped the ball onto the bar, and it was unfortunate from his point of view that it did bobble out to Dack to prod home. From there, the intensity seemed to drop from Blackburn, and they had to rely on Kaminski to make a terrific save to make sure it went to the break at 1-1. Djukovic, the man denied with a diving header, but still plenty to play for in the second half. Blackburn 1, Birmingham 1.
Half-time also in the FA Cup 4th round at Ashton Gate, and so far it seems a pretty comfortable afternoon for the host, Lawrence Mora.
Yeah, Bristol City 2, West Brom 0. I've got to say, that probably is the best 45 minutes I've seen during the almost 2 years that Nigel Pearson has been manager here at Bristol City. The Robbins Academy kids have done the business so far. Sam Bell and Alex Scott getting the goals. Bell's opener on 12 minutes. It was a really super sweet strike from the left-hand channel of the penalty area that he whipped into the far corner of the net. That's his first senior goal at Ashton Gate. 19-year-old Scott doubled that lead on 28 minutes, sliding in to finish in the 6-yard box from Mark Sykes' inch-perfect right-wing cross. At the other end, the best chance for the Baggies saw DK's cross shot saved by Max O'Leary's feet. As more than 3,000 Albion fans are packed out the away end. They've had nothing to cheer about so far. They'll be desperate for their side to give them something to get excited about in the second half. At the break though, Bristol City 2, West Brom 0.
We're needing a spark at Hillsborough. Half-time with TalkSport's Alan Biggs.
Yeah, absolutely right. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Fleetwood 0. These teams know each other too well. A third meeting in a month. Sheffield Wednesday having to work hard to try to make their obvious superiority count. Fleetwood restricting them severely. Malik Wilkes the closest to a breakthrough, and it's mainly incidental stuff providing the talking points, like Fleetwood's Sean Rooney being the pantomime villain on his return from incurring a long ban the first time these sides met this season. He's been booed with every touch, but seems to revel in it, arguing with the fourth official at one point and later picking up a yellow card for chopping down Josh Windass. The other incidental and the biggest cheer, the sight of Barry Bannon and George Byers warming up from the Wednesday subs bench. Both have been injured and their return will be influential. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Fleetwood 0.
Alan Biggs, thank you very much. Half-time entertainment here at St Mary's, a kids relay race. We've had one kid tripped up, another one running severely out of puff. Good entertainment for all here at St Mary's this afternoon in the FA Cup. Back into the Championship, half-time at the CBS Arena with TalkSport's Dave Rowe.
Coventry 0, Huddersfield 0. The home side have made most of the running, and the main reason why they aren't ahead is two good saves from Nicholas Bilokovic, playing only his second league game for Huddersfield. The first on 32 minutes. The best move of the half, ending with Jamie Owen feeding Victor Jokeres in the left-hand channel. His fair shot tipped over by the keeper, and he was in action again 8 minutes later. This time Jokeres with the hold-up play, Gus Hamer's curling shot, and Bilokovic with the strong hands to palm it away. Huddersfield have defended well. They haven't made the most of Coventry's ball giveaways. Just the one routine save so far for Ben Wilson to keep out a Jordan Rhodes header from a Holmes cross. At the break, Coventry 0, Huddersfield 0.
QPR in a hole. Half-time at the MKM Stadium with TalkSport's Andy Buckley.
Half-time, Hull City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. After 4 months without a home win, could Hull be on course for a long-awaited victory in front of their own supporters? They made a wonderful start. The surging right-wing runs from Cyrus Christie had been a warning to QPR, who didn't learn their lesson. Christie ran deep into Rangers territory again on 10 minutes, and from his cross the ball broke to Aaron Connolly, who lashed a shot into the roof of the net with the help of a slight deflection. Connolly celebrating his 23rd birthday in style, his full home debut on loan from Brighton. Hull deserve their half-time lead. Rangers have been sluggish for much of the first half, unable to establish any kind of rhythm. They'll have to smarten up their act if they're to end their dismal run in the league. Half-time, Hull 1, QPR 0.
Andy, thank you. Finally, half-time in League One at the Western Home Stadium with TalkSport's Alex Biddle.
Yes, at half-time, Dan, it's Peterborough United 2, Portsmouth 0. Johnson Clark-Harris putting the hosts ahead. 18 minutes in, Poku's pinpoint ball into the 6-yard box met by the Peterborough captain. He banged his second from the spot just before the break. Ephraim Mason-Clark tripped at the edge of the area, and Clark-Harris slotting home to the right of Portsmouth goalkeeper Matt Macy. Peterborough have looked so dangerous down that right-hand side, and it's a reality check so far for Portsmouth after 2 wins on the bounce. 45 to go though, Dan. At the break, it's Peterborough United 2, Portsmouth 0.
This is Game Day. Half-time classifieds.
2 full times to tell you about first in the FA Cup 4th round. Earlier on the TalkSport network, it finished Accrington Stanley 1, Leeds United 3, Walsall 0, Leicester 1. Half times Blackburn 1, Birmingham City 1, Bristol City 2, West Brom 0, Fulham 0, Sunderland 1, Ipswich 0, Burnley 0, Luton Town 0, Grimsby Town 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Fleetwood 0, Southampton 1, Blackpool 0. 6 o'clock start live on TalkSport. Preston against Tottenham. 8 o'clock again here on TalkSport. Manchester United taking on Reading. Half times in the Championship: Coventry 0, Huddersfield Town 0, Hull City 1, QPR 0, Middlesbrough 2, Watford 0. Full time from earlier in League One: Charlton Athletic 1, Bolton Wanderers 2 is how it finished at the Valley. Half times: Burton Albion 1, Oxford United 0, Cheltenham 0, Port Vale 0, Lincoln 0, Cambridge United 0, MK Dons 0, Exeter City 1, Morecambe 1, Bristol Rovers 0, Peterborough United 2, Portsmouth 0, Shrewsbury Town 0, Forest Green Rovers 1. Half-times in League 1, AFC Wimbledon 0, Stockport County 0, Barrow 0, Northampton Town 0, Crawley Town 2, Salford City 0, Harrogate Town 0, Sutton United 1, Hartlepool United 0, Colchester 1, Mansfield Town 2, Doncaster Rovers 0, Rochdale 0, Carlisle United 1, Swindon Town 1, Gillingham 3, Tranmere Rovers 0, Leyton Orient 0. Half-times in the Scottish Premiership, Hibernian 3, Aberdeen 0, Rangers 1, St Johnstone 0, Ross County 1, Kilmarnock 0, St Mirren 1, Motherwell 0. Into the Scottish Championship half-times, Dundee 0, Queen's Park 0, Morton 1, Arbroath 0, Partick Thistle 0, Hamilton 0, Wraith Rovers 1, Inverness 0. Scottish League 1, Airdrie 3, Alloa Athletic 0, Clyde 1, Dunfermline 1, Edinburgh 0, Falkirk 0, Montrose 2, Kelty Hearts 1, Peterhead 1, Queen of the South 0. And finally in Scottish League 2, Albion Rovers 0, Forth Athletic 0, and Athletic 1, East Fife 0, Dumbarton 1, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Sandhurst Muir 1, Elgin City 0, Stirling Albion 0, Stranraer 0.
FA Cup live on TalkSport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Welcome, Soul Traders, to your guided meditation with Intuit QuickBooks. Let us help you relieve stress with self-assessment, accounting, and MTD for VAT, all in one place. Sit back, relax, and count on us. Get QuickBooks.
I need a big flavour.
A what?
I mean a favour. Sorry, I think I need a wrap. I mean nap.
Sounds like someone has flavour on the brain. Get wrapped up in flavour with McDonald's Big Flavour Wraps. The garlic mayo chicken one. Today's $1.99 wrap of the day. From 11 a.m. Wrap of the day discount not available on delivery orders. Price may vary, subject to availability.
It could be a first-timer or a long-timer or a once-in-a-whiler. It could be a little or a lot. It could be the ticket under your fridge magnet. It could be someone with your first name and last and middle, or it could be you. Tonight's Lotto jackpot is £11 million and it must be won. Or thousands of you will win a share of the jackpot. Play on app. Lotto from the National Lottery. Estimated jackpot. Account terms, rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
FA Cup live on TalkSport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Levitate above the humdrum.
FA Cup Game Day Live
on TalkSport.
Thanks for currently on TalkSport. I'm your host, Dan Woodall, taking you around the grounds this FA Cup 4th round Saturday, bringing you up to date with the latest in the EFL Scotland National League as well. We're back off and underway here at St Mary's. Southampton 1, Blackpool 0, the latest in the 4th round of the FA Cup. TalkSport Breakfast back Monday morning. Don't forget, from 6 a.m. as Laura Woods and Ali McCoys react to a monster weekend of FA Cup action across the TalkSport network. You can expect great guests and all the latest transfer news. Deadline day, of course, Tuesday. Got bumper coverage planned for that, not just on TalkSport 2, but also talksport.com, plus many a lighter moment.
His wife's sitting there, and after an hour she says, "You don't care about me anymore." He says, "What do you mean?" He says, "You don't care about me. You've not noticed then, have you?" And he looked at her, he went, aye, you've had your hair done. She says, "No, I've not had my hair done." "You've had a manicure?" "No, I've not had my lashes done. I've got a crash helmet on."
We did hear some rumours of cheating. Could you put the record straight?
Oh, honestly, Laurie, you've never seen anything like it. He was unbelievable. He used to write the names down on the inside of his hand and everything. He used to be unbelievable.
We always talk about players having to become these robots. Don't make the managers do that as well.
She done it on Virgin Radio.
Aye.
They get cornflakes, they get Rice Krispies, they get you name the whole lot. We've got nothing up at our end.
Well, what do you want me to do about it? I'm only here 2 days a week now. You want me to complain to the bosses?
Burns evenings and Burns suppers, where traditionally we eat haggis, tatties. Get that dumped immediately.
When they can keep it together, that's TalkSport Breakfast with Laura Woods, Ali McCoy. Monday morning, don't forget, from 6 a.m. Don't miss it right here on TalkSport. Early second half goal in the FA Cup at Ewood Park. Let's get up to Lancashire with Matt Jones.
Comeback complete for Blackburn. Blackburn 2, Birmingham 1. Don't forget that Blackburn conceded just 3 minutes into the game as Chong has a shot beaten away for Birmingham, but they've now completed the comeback because the ball has fallen to Joe Rankin Costello 20 yards out, and he's hit a swerving shot with the outside of his right boot that Neil Etheridge couldn't get down to save. It's his first goal since August 2020, so a rare name on the score sheet, but a very popular one around these parts. 48 minutes gone. Blackburn 2, Birmingham 1.
An early goal, a second goal also for Morecambe. James Connolly with an own goal. Morecambe 2, Bristol Rovers 0 in League One. Raith Rovers 1, Inverness 1 in Scotland. Ross County 2, Kilmarnock 0. Also early goals in the second half, bringing you up to date. And another goal to tell you about at Ashton Gate in the FA Cup with TalkSport's Lawrence Mora.
Bristol City 3, West Brom 0, and Sam Bell again has got on the score sheet his second of the afternoon, and a really, really top finish this from the youngster. Great work down the right hand side. Tanner played the ball early, he saw Bell on the run. The first touch was inch perfect, Button came off his line, and Bell managed to get the second touch to put it over the goalkeeper into the net. Such a clash finish. He's had a fantastic afternoon. Scored his first goal at Ashton Gate. He's now got his second in the second half, and Bristol City are in full control. Bristol City 3, West Brom 0.
2 second half goals in 2 minutes for Morecambe. 3 up now over Bristol Rovers, a third for the host thanks to Donald Love. Already today, this lunchtime on TalkSport, we brought you engaging action from the FA Cup 4th round.
You're listening to the FA Cup weekend on TalkSport. He's now right with him and receives the short corner from Gordon. He gives it back to Gordon, rolls it back to the edge of the area. Tom Knowles with a drive, palmed away for a corner by Everson.
This is a proper cup tie. This is a proper cup tie, played at a real intensity.
Done it again to pick it up 25 yards out. Drifts onto his left, whips a left-footed shot in. Fantastic goal! 7 goals in 7 FA Cup ties for the man who cannot stop scoring in this competition. And just like he did at Gillingham, Kelechi Iheanacho gives Leicester a second half lead.
He can do that, that's the thing. He can threaten the goal. I thought his turn was terrific. He was really aggressive and got his shot off, and we get the goal. So, but now I think his overall game was excellent. Held the ball up well and found the space well.
You don't get many chances against Premier League teams. I just wish we had taken one of them, because it does give you something to hold on to then.
Greenwood for Leeds United, number 42. Little layoff now to Harrison, who shoots left-footed, a rocket into the corner. What a strike from Jack Harrison.
We're told that the club want to keep him, want to tie him down with a contract. What can you tell us about the situation? How clear has Jack made it he wants to stay?
Yeah, I'm not going to discuss it. The only thing I'm going to say is you watch Jack play tonight, you can see he's a very important player for us, so I thought he was great.
Through to far post, it's played square and knocked into the net. It is a third for Leeds United. 2 goals in double quick time, and they've surely wrapped up the match now. Amford with his back to goal, holds it up nicely, the number 9, putting it through the middle for Junior Firpo to put the ball into the corner and to surely put this tie beyond Accrington Stanley.
I would just say right now that we're happy that we're able to push in the tournament. You know, you always hope for a good draw. We'd like to play at home. That would be nice. But we're taking the tournament very seriously, and we want to make a cup run.
Interesting response from the Leeds United boss Jesse Marsh when talking about Jack Harrison. Reported interest from Leicester City, a reported bid being made for Harrison. Marsh saying he remains our player ahead of deadline day Tuesday. Comprehensive coverage across the TalkSport network and at talksport.com. Deadline day, don't miss it this Tuesday. Early second half goal at Kenilworth Road to tell you about in the FA Cup with Alfie Reynolds.
Luton 1, Grimsby 1. Just 3 minutes into the second half, Luton have levelled things up. Elijah Adebayo slotting home a penalty to cancel out Grimsby's opener, which came at the end of the first half against the run of play as well. Luton have been much the better side here, and the penalty was awarded after Osho just some quick feet on the edge of the area. He was brought down by Morris, and Adebayo sent Crocombe the wrong way. Luton will be looking to push forward now. As I say, they were the better team in the first half. They found themselves behind. They've now got themselves level. What happens from here? 5 minutes into the second half, Luton 1, Grimsby 1.
National League goals to tell you about. Altrincham 0, Boreham Wood 2, Aldershot Town 1, Oldham Athletic 1. Now the latest in Scotland, Edinburgh 0, Falkirk 1, Allen Athletic 2, East Fife 0, and Burton Albion fighting to get out of the bottom 4 in League 1. 2 up now over Oxford United. The second scored after 49 minutes by Dale Taylor. What a week. 8 minutes gone at St Mary's, but first we'll go in the Championship to the CBS Arena because we've got a goal there with Dave Rowe.
A breakthrough for Coventry 1, Huddersfield 0. Wonderful goal scored by Gustavo Hamer. Exchange passes with Victor Gyökeres on the left corner of the area, burrowed his way through, and a right-footed shot curled beyond Milokovic to put the home side in front. Gus Hamer with the goal. Coventry 1, Huddersfield 0.
A cup goal at Hillsborough. Which way's it gone? Alan Biggs.
Sheffield Wednesday 0, Fleetwood Town 1, right in front of the Cod Army behind the goal. To my left, it's scored by Promise Omerchair with a point-blank diving header from Danny Andrews' cross from the left, and Fleetwood are in front now. We can't really talk about giant killings when two teams are from League One, but there's a real gulf in status and tradition between these clubs. Sheffield Wednesday are a mighty name and would be a mighty conquest for Fleetwood, who had an earlier chance this half when Brendan Wirraju had a free header close to goal from a Paddy Lane free kick which he put over. But Omerchair has done the business, and a big challenge on now for Darren Moore's Sheffield Wednesday, who haven't lost in so long. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Fleetwood Town 1.
Harry Pell has given AFC Wimbledon the lead over Stockport County in League 2. Johnny Jackson, the Don's boss, was a guest last Monday on the EFL show over on TalkSport 2. Back 6 p.m. Monday night, Dave Edwards, my guest, 6 p.m. TalkSport 2, as part of our dedicated EFL coverage over on TalkSport 2. Thank you for your patience. Latest here at St Mary's with TalkSport's Jake Robson.
54 minutes on the clock. It's still Southampton 1, Blackpool 0. A really good chance for the visitors. Probably their best of the game early on. And in fact, through on goal here. Oh, what a fantastic effort and a brilliant save. Down over there, oh my word, and he's absolutely blazed it wide. Poveda Ocampo, it almost looked easier to score. He was played through one-on-one. He went for the lob over Willy Caballero. It wasn't high enough and the goalkeeper managed to claw it out of the sky. But the rebound, he had the goal gaping in front of him and he snatched at it and he slashed it wide. The away fans to my right-hand side cannot believe what they've just seen. That was Blackpool's best chance of the game. The best one they'd had until that point came a little earlier on in the half. A flick header that Poveda Ocampo himself managed to get on the end of, but the Southampton defence wormed it away for a corner. But my goodness me, if ever there was a chance to get yourself back into a cup tie, that was it. Gutting for the Blackpool fans, and this had come really 90 seconds after Southampton should have made it 2. Adozi with some more good work down the right hand side. He fired in a cross towards Aribo, and inexplicably the front man let it go. I don't know if he thought someone was coming in behind him. It would have been easier to score from about 10 yards out. Could have been 2-0, should be 1-1, but as it is, 55 on the clock, it's Southampton 1, Blackpool 0.
A huge double chance for Poveda. I'm not sure Blackpool may get a better, more clear-cut chance this afternoon down at St Mary's than that, Jake. Thank you very much. In League 2, they've lost 3 of their last 4 promotion chasers. Northampton in front, though, on the road at Barrow. Ben Fox with the goal after 54 minutes. Let's get back to Craven Cottage for an update. Not been there in a while. Apologies for that, Ollie Klink.
No problem, Dan. It's been an electric start to this second half here as well. Fulham 0, Sunderland 1. Harry Wilson has just been denied by Patterson in the Sunderland goal. He's played in on the counter-attack by Pereira, found himself in on goal, but was denied brilliantly by the keeper. And Arman has just come really close for Sunderland too. Lovely flowing move from them as they go close again, and they almost double their lead too. Jack Clark denied by Marek Rodak as he was coming in to try and poke a shot home. I'm telling you, this game has been fantastic so far. Ahmed, though, came really close just before that, and Rodak had to come down low to make a smart save to keep him out. Honestly, it's been breathless, as you can probably tell. You can listen to live commentary of the second half over on TalkSport 2. It's Fulham 0, Sunderland 1.
Drama and incident in the FA Cup all over the place this afternoon here on TalkSport. Is it remaining lively at Portman Road? Let's find out with Alvin Martin and Ian Abrahams.
10 minutes into the second half, Ipswich 0, Burnley, and it certainly is lively. I fancy that Vincent Kompany had a word at half-time, because Burnley look a very, very different animal in this second half. First half, they almost looked a little bit lethargic at times. second half, they have come right at Ipswich and could have scored twice. First, Nathan Teller with a fierce effort palmed away by Alecki in the Ipswich goal, and then he did even better really to keep out a dipping volley from Jay Rodriguez from 25 yards out. But Alvin Martin, FA Cup winner in the beautiful sunshine of Wembley in 1980. This Burnley side are unrecognisable from that in the first half.
Well, I'd agree that maybe a few words were said at half time, because I think the effort was there, but I think the intent, certainly the goal threat wasn't, and they've got that right at the start of this second half. They are starting to really look at threading balls through. They're taking more risk around the final third. Teller and Shalenko, certainly wide areas, are getting more service. You get service to them, people like Rodriguez also come into play. So a much better start to the second half for Burnley.
I remember a cup tie on that cup run in 1980 where Phil Parks, the West Ham keeper, kept you, and it was some great saves. They were 2 good saves by the Ipswich keeper.
They were, yeah. I think we got to give credit to Rodriguez. All from a halfway line, throw in. It was a great bit of movement. The ball eventually comes to him on the edge of the box. He chested it down, volleyed towards goal, but the keeper did make an excellent save to his right.
It certainly did. 10 minutes of the second half gone. This is really starting to warm up now. Ipswich 0, Burnley 0.
A third for Crawley Town just before the hour. Teddy Jenks with it. 3-0 they lead over Salford City. Looks like Scott Lindsay will win his first game in charge of Crawley Town. Never been an away win in the fixture between Crawley and Salford. It will take something quite drastic to change that stat moving forward for another few months at least. Let's bring you up to date with the latest back in the Championship at the Riverside with Chris Owellamo alongside Graham Courtney.
Well, we're approaching the hour mark here, Dan. It's still Middlesbrough 2, Watford 0. That was Chuba Akpom after 36 minutes, and then Marcus Forss 3 minutes deep into injury time. And but generally the Borough, when they're going for a chance here for Middlesbrough, actually, but it's one of those where, do you know what, actually, Chris, you've got to say, you've got to pull it back and do something a bit better with that.
Well, I'd rather Giles just take the shot on there. You know, he's coming down the left hand side, he's only got the goalkeeper to beat, and he passes it to the back post. You know what I mean? It's basically it's on target, and it's an easy one for Batman to claim.
You've got to work the keeper, though, haven't you?
You have to, but he's trying to find a player rather than go for goal himself there. I just think be a little bit more selfish. You know, you're 2-0 up. Watford have come out a completely different team. You know, they're much more of a threat. They're throwing bodies forward. They're using the ball better. So you have to take those opportunities and put them on the back foot again.
You touched on it there, Slaven Bilic. I mean, experienced manager, made 3 changes at half time.
Well, I think managers can overthink it as well. I'd like to see Watford come and do this from the get-go. You know, they're taking more risk in the game. Of course, they're 2-0 down, so they have to take those necessary risks to get back in the game. You know, Adeyemo's come on, Bakuna comes and sits, but I'm liking that front four is just going and pressing a lot higher. You know, they're forcing error. They've had a couple of opportunities through Martin's bodies in the box. They've just not got that opportunity, that attempt on goal.
Still good to watch, though, end-to-end football here. And do you know what, Dan, at the moment, if it all stays like, I know there are only 3 games this afternoon in the Championship, but if it stays like this, Middlesbrough and Watford swap places. The Borough will move up to 3rd place and Watford dropping down to 4th. Good game here, important one as well. Middlesbrough 2, Watford 0.
In League 2, deficits cut. Talk Sports, Charlie Austin from the spot. Swindon Town 2, Gillingham 3 now the latest at the county ground. And also in League 2, Mansfield Town 2, Doncaster Rovers 1, Carl Hurst with the goal for Danny Schofield's Donny. What's the latest at the MKM Stadium, also in the Championship, with TalkSport's Andy Buckley?
57 minutes gone, Hull City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. That early goal from Aaron Connolly separating the sides. QPR made a couple of changes at the break, a tactical reshuffle. It's worked as well. Dazelle and Armstrong coming on, Adoma and Irobanam going off. Signs of an improvement from the visitors, more purpose certainly to their play. Sinclair with a dangerous cross just a few minutes ago was cleared. Hull City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
A second goal here at St Mary's. You can probably hear which way it has gone. TalkSports, Jake Robson.
Southampton 2, Blackpool 0, 61 on the clock, and it's Roman Perro again at the double. Would you believe it? A free kick in the first half, and this time a beautiful 1-2 with the striker Sekou Mara as he made his way into the box. He was allowed all the space he wanted at St Mary's, and he was 10 yards out, and he picked his moment and his point in the goal. Maxwell this time absolutely no chance, couldn't do anything about that. As you said, Dan, the home fans going wild here in front of us, and that surely is game over. Southampton 2, Blackpool 0.
Well worked. What's Blackpool midfielder Ian Paveda thinking now with Southampton 2 in front at St Mary's? Back into the National League, a much more positive week for Scunthorpe United, taken over by new owner David Hilton this week. A chance for the club to finally build again, 5 points off safety at the foot of the National League table. One away from home for the first time since 2021 in the week. They are behind though this afternoon, again fighting for their lives in the National League to Bromley. It's Scunthorpe United 0, Bromley 1. Michael Cheek with the goal just before the hour mark. A goal in the FA Cup at Craven Cottage. Give us the details, Ollie Klink.
Just after the hour mark, the Premier League side are level. Fulham 1, Sunderland 1. Tom Kearney is the man who's got the equaliser. Brilliant work down the left by Kurzawa. He got it across to Kearney inside the box, and then it was all about the Fulham midfielder. He jinked away from a couple of challenges and fired it into the bottom left-hand corner. Excellent goal from him, and Fulham will be relieved. They've got a way back into this game. Hour gone here. Fulham 1, Sunderland 1.
Rangers 2 up over St Johnstone. Glenn Kamara with Mick Bill's sides second, and shortly afternoon over in League 1. Morecambe 4, Bristol Rovers 0. Cole Stockton still at the club nearing deadline day. He's got their 4th just after the hour. Let's bring up to date with the latest in League 1 at the Western Home Stadium with TalkSport's Alex Biddle.
Yes, Dan, it's Peterborough United 2, Portsmouth 0, and Peterborough have come out flying in the second half. They should have had a third. Misplaced pass from Pompey's Sean Raggett at the feet of Ephraim Mason-Clark. A lung-busting run from him with the ball. A delicious cross across the face of goal to Joe Ward, but it was well saved by Pompey goalkeeper Matt Macy. The visitors are struggling to find their feet here. The hosts going forward look quality. 63 minutes gone. It's Peterborough United 2, Portsmouth 0.
So the latest in the FA Cup 4th round: Blackburn Rovers 2, Birmingham 1, Bristol City 3, West Brom 0, Fulham 1, Sunderland 1, Ipswich 0, Burnley 0, Luton 1, Grimsby 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Fleetwood 1, Southampton 2, Blackpool 0. From 6 o'clock, Preston Spurs on TalkSport. From 8, Manchester United taking on Reading. In the Championship, Coventry 1, Huddersfield 0, Hull 1, QPR 0, Borough 2, Watford 0. Earlier start finish this lunchtime in League 1, Charlton 1, Bolton Wanderers 2. Latest, Burton Albion 2, Oxford 0, Cheltenham 0, Port Vale 0, Lincoln 0, Cambridge 0, MK Dons 0, Exeter 1, Morecambe 4, Bristol Rovers 0, Peterborough 2, Portsmouth 0, Shrewsbury 0, Forest Green Rovers 1. Latest in League 2, AFC Wimbledon 1, Stockport County 0, Barrow 0, Northampton Town 1, Crawley 3, Salford 0, Harrogate 0, Sutton 1, Hartlepool United 0, Colchester 1, Mansfield Town 2, Doncaster Rovers 1, Rochdale 0, Carlisle 1, Swindon Town 2, Gillingham 3, Tranmere Rovers 0, Leyton Orient 0. Back shortly to take you around the grounds this afternoon on TalkSport.
FA Cup Live on TalkSport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
What does paradise sound like? The lapping of the Caribbean Sea against golden sands? A cocktail arriving right on time. A 14-night P&O Cruises Caribbean holiday for £86 per night with premium accommodation, incredible dining, entertainment for all ages with flights and transfers included as standard. Yeah, that sounds like paradise to me. Get more holiday for your money with P&O Cruises. Subject to availability based on 2 per cabin, early saver fare, K324A PF grade, conditions apply.
Did you know DVLA lets you spread the cost of your vehicle tax by paying via direct debit? So you can pay in 12 easy installments, making it easier than ever to keep every bit of your vehicle taxed, including your horn, wipers, indicators, seat belts, engine, and even your radio. Tax your vehicle via direct debit today at gov.uk/DVLA/tax it. Tax it. Don't risk it.
It could be a first-timer or a long-timer or a once-in-a-whiler. It could be a little or a lot. It could be the ticket under your fridge magnet. It could be someone with your first name and last and middle, or it could be you. Tonight's Lotto jackpot is £11 million and it must be won. Or thousands of you will win a share of the jackpot. Play on app. Lotto from the National Lottery. Estimated jackpot. Account terms, rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
FA Cup Live on TalkSport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. Good day, sports time.
Monday morning from 6.
Talk Sport Breakfast. Hello, I'm Laura Woods.
And I'm Alan McCoist.
We'll bring you all the fallout from the weekend's FA Cup action, and we'll give you the latest involving your club as we edge towards the end of the transfer window. Talk Sport Breakfast.
Built on banter.
Who are you?
Who are you? Monday morning from 6 on Talk Sport. Get your teeth into it. 4.
Game on here at St Mary's in the FA Cup. TalkSport's Jake Robson.
Southampton 2, Blackpool 1 as it stands. The goal is being checked by VAR.
Oh, they got
for
that
a
here, have
possible
they?
offside. They do have it. The VAR is Thomas Bramall. Charlie Patino with a finish. A really, really well-worked move. Bowler ran through the centre of the pitch. He skipped past one and he skipped past two, and the goal has been given. It is Southampton 2, Blackpool 1. Patino with the goal. Bowler with a fantastic run. He played a really, really neat 1-2 with Yates. The cross then came in. Patino was there, 5 yards out. He couldn't miss, and it very much is game on. Southampton 2, Blackpool 1.
Another goal at Kenilworth Road to tell you about in the FA Cup as well. Alfie Reynolds.
Yeah, Luton 2, Grimsby 1. Luton have turned this game around. Jordan Clark with an outstanding finish. He hit it in the penalty area, swivelling as he did so. Max Crocombe in the Grimsby goal did get a hand to it, but not enough to keep it out. And Grimsby, having taken the lead in this game unexpectedly at the end of the first half, now need to come from behind. Is that a goal which is going to end Grimsby's FA Cup journey this season? Jordan Clark, the goal scorer. It's Luton 2, Grimsby 1, but there is an opportunity at the other end, and Grimsby have come straight back into it. Harry Clifton, the goal scorer, the opportunity out of nothing with 67 minutes on the clock, having just gone behind. How's that for a response? This FA Cup journey for Grimsby is not over yet. Luton 2, Grimsby 2.
FA Cup goals as they go in right here on Game Day Live on Talk Sport. Back in the Championship, QPR have not won since the 17th of December. And it's not getting any better for Neil Critchley and his side at the MKM Stadium. Is it, Andy Buckley?
It isn't indeed. Hull City 3, would you believe it? Queen's Park Rangers 0, 2 goals in quick succession, both due to dreadful defending in the Queen's Park Rangers defence. The first of them was an own goal from Rob Dickey, who stuck out his leg to try and clear a cross from the right from Tufan. All he did was deflect the ball into his own net. And then, to make matters worse, just a few moments ago, Aaron Connolly with his second goal of the afternoon on his birthday. 2 goals for him on his full home debut. QPR tried to play the offside trap. It was a terrible idea. The flag stayed down. Connolly ran through unchallenged and stroked the ball into an unguarded net. Hull City 3, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
In the National League, a second for Solihull Moors and Andrew Dallas from the spot. Dorking Wanderers 0, Solihull Moors 2, and in Scotland Dundee 1, Queen's Park 0. Let's bring you up to date with the latest at Craven Cottage inside the final 20 minutes in West London with Ollie Klink.
Yeah, Fulham 1, Sunderland 1, about 20 minutes to go here. Marco Silva has played his trump card, Dan. Former Newcastle striker Alexander Mitrovic has come on for Carlos Vinicius in search of a winning goal. He was greeted by some pretty vicious booing from the Sunderland away, and as you might expect, but he's on, and Fulham have gained some confidence since getting themselves level. No real clear-cut chances since, but Willian has also just come on for Harry Wilson as Fulham come forward on the attack once more with Pereira, but he slips as he shoots, and Patterson is able to gather that one at his near post. Fulham doing well here, Sunderland holding their own though. Live commentary of this one over on TalkSport 2. It's Fulham 1, Sunderland 1.
On comes Mitro at Craven Cottage, a second goal at the CBS Arena. Which way has it gone, Dave Rowe?
Coventry 2, Huddersfield 0, probably point safe for the home side. Casey Palmer's 4th goal of the season, certainly in good form, his 3rd goal in 4 games. Huddersfield only half cleared a Coventry corner. Victor Gyökeres picked up on the right edge of the area, twisted and turned, put a cross in, and Casey Palmer was there to head home. Huddersfield though with a chance to get back into it. Good save by Ben Wilson, denying Joe Hungbo. That's probably the best chance that the Terriers have had so far, but with 18 to go, Palmer's goal makes it Coventry 2, Huddersfield 0.
One defeat in 5 for Gary Caldwell's Exeter City, 2 in front now at Stadium. MK Exeter City 2 up there, Giovanni Brown, with his second of the afternoon. A goal at Hillsborough to tell you about in the FA Cup 4th round. TalkSport's Alan Biggs.
It's Sheffield Wednesday 1, Fleetwood Town 1. Wednesday had not threatened a goal, but they've produced one, and it's an unlucky moment for the Fleetwood defender who volleyed the ball into his own net. If he just turns round, I'll tell you who the guilty party is from that. I think it's Nsiala. It was a cross from the left. It was no more than a hopeful cross from the left-hand side, and the ball was hammered. Actually, it was Earl, apologies to Nsiala, it was Josh Earl who tried to volley it out, but only volleyed it straight past his own keeper into the roof of the net. And Sheffield Wednesday have brought on their big guns to try and get a goal. Lee Gregory, Barry Bannon and George Byers on their comebacks are on. They hadn't looked like producing that moment, but it was produced for them in the end. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Fleetwood Town 1.
At Pullman Road, we still need a goal with Alvin Martin alongside Ian Abrahams.
Yeah, 19 to go. Still Ipswich 0, Burnley 0. Both managers have turned to their benches to try and win this one without having to go to a replay. Burnley have thrown on the likes of Josh Cullen and also Josh Brownhill. Meanwhile, as for Ipswich, Kieran McKenna has thrown on Freddie Ladapo and Connor Chaplin as well. No sign of any of those gentlemen getting us a goal yet. Alvin Martin, because he won the FA Cup in 1980. No sign of anyone getting a goal yet, and actually the more this goes on, the more you think just one will do it.
Well, I think what you've got now is obviously both teams not wanting to play a replay, and I think they're both going for it. But look, I've got to give credit to Ipswich again. The first 10 minutes they came out, Burnley looked a real threat, but they've sustained. They've quietened them down. Chance just as I'm speaking there, gone out for a corner. But no, credit to Ipswich. They've got themselves back in the game. They've started to look a lot more solid. Although you still feel that if you were going to pick a winner, the individuals that Vincent Kompany has will have the edge.
Absolutely. Remember, Burnley ran off a couple of times in the Championship this season. They're absolutely romping towards promotion, and the game with Watford losing at Middlesbrough only helps Burnley even more. Remember, they have to lose nearly half their games they've got left to not get promoted. They have a corner on this, so just stick with it. Plenty forward. In fact, everybody bar Bailey Peacock Farrell is within 20 yards of the Ipswich net. Nearly everyone's inside the actual penalty area. Played deep towards the far post. It's headed away. The referee has spotted an infringement, so that will be that in terms of the excitement of that particular move. And we move to within 17 minutes of the finish, and it's Ipswich 0, Burnley 0.
In Scottish League 1, latest Montrose 2, Kelty Hearts 2, Edinburgh 1, Falkirk 2. Let's bring you up to date with the latest at Ewood Park. Blackburn with their noses in front. Birmingham, I imagine, though, Matt Jones, pushing hard.
They certainly are. It's Blackburn 2, Birmingham 1, so no further goals since you were last with me. But both teams have had chances, the best of them for Blackburn falling to Ben Brereton Diaz. Now, he's their top scorer with 10 goals this season, but he hasn't scored in his last 9. And he's had a couple of really good chances where he probably should have done better. The best of them, a quick counter-attack after a Birmingham move broke down. Blackburn had 3-on-1 at one point. Doolan released Brereton Diaz. He tried to clip the ball over the onrushing Etheridge, but couldn't get the ball into the back of the net as it dropped just wide. From a Preston point of view, Djukovic has put a header just wide, and Kadra broke through on goal as well, only to have his shot saved at the near post by Kaminski. I felt he probably could have either taken it a bit earlier or passed to one of his teammates in the middle. Instead, he took that extra touch, and that just allowed Kaminski to close the angle down a little bit too much. But still all to play for Birmingham, who've made 4 changes. Kadra's gone off, actually, and they've just brought on Juninho Bakuna, so maybe they can get something out of this game, but generally Blackburn are controlling it. There's 14 minutes to go. Blackburn 2, Birmingham 1.
Latest in Scotland, 4-0 Hibernian lead now over Aberdeen. Jim Goodwin, his future discussed in the week, lost 7 of his last 9, 4 down now to Hibs, under real pressure. Does he walk away from a result like this? Kevin Nesbitt with their 4th, a move to Millwall, and England collapsed this week. 4-0 Hibs lead over Aberdeen in the Scottish Premiership. And in the National League, Southend United 2 down now to Eastleigh. Let's bring you up to date with the latest at Ashton Gates with TalkSport's Lawrence Mora.
Bristol City 3, West Brom 0. We got 76 on the clock here, and Bristol City closing this game out. Although West Brom have made a couple of substitutions to try and get themselves back into it. One of them has just fired a shot across goal. It took a deflection, and that is Brandon Thomas Asante. It was a right-footed effort, and the Bristol City defender throwing himself in front of the ball and deflecting it wide. It looks like a corner to the Baggies in front of that packed away end, but it's Sam Bell, the Bristol City youngster, who's been the story so far. Goal in the first half, and then an absolute cracker at the start of the second half, which has put this game firmly in the hands of the Robins. 77 on the clock. Bristol City 3, West Brom 0.
Salford City back in the game of sorts. Crawley Town 3, Salford City 1. Ryan Watson with the goal 12 minutes from time. Is it nothing more than a consolation in League 2? In the National League, Wildston 1, Gateshead 1 is the latest. York City 1, Maidenhead United 2, also the latest from the National League. In League 1, is it game on or game over at the Western Home Stadium with Alex Biddle?
Coming to you with news of a goal, a Portsmouth response, but Robert Madley's made his way over to the linesman on the far side from where I'm sat, and it's been ruled out. The travelling Portsmouth fans, flares being set off, limbs as you'd call it. It looked like they were back in the game. They've had the last 5 minutes of play, Portsmouth, but Rico Hackett scoring the goal. It's been ruled out offsides. The fourth official, the Portsmouth management team, are surrounding him here. They don't know why, but it's been ruled out for offside. Yes, Bobby Madley's given the ball back to the goalkeeper. It remains Peterborough United 2, Portsmouth 0.
Let's get around the grounds in the Championship. 3 games occurring this afternoon, starting at the Riverside with time running out. Chris Owellamo alongside Graham Courtney.
Yeah, 12 minutes to go here, and it's still Middlesbrough 2, Watford 0. Chuba Akpom and Marcus Forss with the goals for the Borough. And actually, after a fairly early flurry from Watford in this game, mainly on the back of some substitutions being made at half-time, actually, Chris, since then, the Borough have sort of ridden the storm, haven't they?
Yeah, they've just managed the game very well, haven't they? You look like they're going to be the team that goes and gets that next goal. I'm looking at Watford, and I think formation, organisation just completely out the window. You know, they're just throwing it, they're getting the ball, they're just running into areas, playing the ball forward, and no one's actually having a defensive mindset or responsibility. I've got to say that the chance that came in, it was Paddy McNair. He took one from a Hayden ball into the box, and I think it was Hayden again that put the cross in, or Tommy Smith it was. And I'm surprised that McGree doesn't go for goal. He tries to put it back into the danger area for Archer, but Middlesbrough do look like they're composed, they're organised, everyone knows their responsibilities, and like you say, they're completely in control of this game at the minute.
One of the substitutes that came on at half time, Chris, Toby Adamayo, is a young lad. I tell you what, close control for a big lad. He looks good.
Yeah, 17 years old, Graham, you know, and like you say, he's got that physicality, fantastic little touch, good awareness, English as well. So just, he looks like a talent. But again, he's been thrown on at half time here, and you want those experienced heads to get him through the game, give him the service. When the ball's at his feet, he's looking very good, but he has to influence the match. But that comes with service as well.
Yep, and one of those chances early on, Riley McGree, just trying to think that a couple of months ago, he was marking Lionel Messi at the World Cup playing for Australia. Dohart and Middlesbrough, there you go. Could be a book. We've got 11 to go here on Teesside. The Borough looking good at the moment, and this result, if it stays like this, will take them up to third place. Middlesbrough 2, Watford 0.
Name of the book. I was trying to mark Lionel Messi. Graham, Chris, thank you very much. Latest in the 3 o'clock games in the FA Cup: Blackburn 2, Birmingham 1, Bristol City 3, West Brom 0, Fulham 1, Sunderland 1, Ipswich 0, Burnley 0, Luton 2, Grimsby Town 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Fleetwood 1, Southampton 2, Blackpool 1. In the Championship, Coventry 2, Huddersfield 0, Hull 3, QPR 0, Middlesbrough 2, Watford 0. Full time from earlier in League 1 finished Charlton 1, Bolton 2. Latest in League 1, Burton Albion 2, Oxford 0, Cheltenham 0, Port Vale 0, Lincoln 0, Cambridge 0, MK Dons 0, Exeter City 2, Morecambe 4, Bristol Rovers 0, Peterborough United 2, Portsmouth 0, Shrewsbury Town 0, Forest Green Rovers 1. And in League 2, AFC Wimbledon 1, Stockport County 0, Barrow 0, Northampton 1, Crawley Town 3, Salford 1, Harrogate Town 0, Sutton United 1, Hartlepool 0, Colchester United 1, Mansfield 3, Doncaster Rovers 1, Rochdale 0, Carlisle 1, Swindon Town 2, Gillingham 3, Tranmere Rovers 0, Leyton Orient 0. Back here at St Mary's in the FA Cup 4th round, and it's Blackpool pushing for an equaliser, Jake Robson.
8.5 to go of normal time. It's Southampton 2, Blackpool 1, and they really wanted a penalty, the visitors. Perrault, I can't put a finer point on it. He was wrestling with Lyons. That's the only way I can say it. Lyons ends up on the floor. Referee Craig Pawson waves it away. It was very, very dodgy if you're a Southampton fan, I have to say. Of course, Blackpool wanted a penalty, as did their fans. As I say, it wasn't given. It was very, very close indeed. A couple of minutes before that, Tribal had his pocket picked in midfield as well for the visitors. Walcott, who's come on as a substitute, picked it up, drove into the area. You know exactly what it looks like. You've seen it many, many times before. Drives into the area, has that shot, gets it away early. It was well blocked by Good, and the ball ballooned over Chris Maxwell and just onto the roof of the net. Heart in mouth time for the visitors, and then they went up the other end and had that shout for a penalty. So it really is happening at either end. 8.5 minutes to go. It's Southampton 2, Blackpool 1.
Some game in League 2 at the County Ground. Swindon Town took the lead within a minute. Gillingham struck back with 3 goals inside the opening 15 minutes, and TalkSport's Charlie Austin on the brace has just scored an equaliser for Swindon. 3-3 between Swindon and Gillingham with just under 10 minutes to go in League 2. Just under 10 minutes to go also in West London at Craven Cottage in the FA Cup with TalkSport's Ollie Klink.
Fulham 1, Sunderland 1. Sunderland bedding in at the moment, but they have just had a good chance. Neil blazing over from inside the box, but it's been Fulham with all the possession. Williams just sent a teasing free kick at goal, but it was pushed away smartly by Patterson. He's had a really decent game, the Sunderland goalkeeper, and the Black Cats have dealt really well with Mitrovic. On 72 minutes, William broke down the right, he cut it across goal, but Mitrovic was forced into taking a really heavy touch instead of hitting it first time, and the chance went begging. It's clear that Marco Silva, though, isn't keen for a replay. Bobby De Cordova-Reid is also on now, but Fulham need to be careful. Sunderland have been swift on the counter all afternoon. They couldn't nick it, could they? Closing stages live on TalkSport 2. It's Fulham 1, Sunderland 1.
Bring you up to date with goals on TalkSport. Southend United 1, Eastleigh 2, the latest in the National League. Queen of the South 2-1 up at Peterhead in Scotland. Barnet now 2 up over Chesterfield in the National League. Kabamba with his second of the afternoon. Torquay United 1 up over Maidstone United. Aaron Jarvis with the goal 10 minutes from time. And Swindon Town back in the game in League 2, 3-0 with Gillingham, and they're now down to 10 men. And Tranmere Rovers have just taken the lead over table toppers in League 2, Leyton Orient. Omar Beckles with an own goal in the 82nd minute. Orient 2 points clear of second, heading in to this afternoon. Have won only 1 of their last 4 though, Richie Wellens side, and behind late on this afternoon at Prenton Park. Right, let's get to Kenilworth Road. Time running out. Are we going to get a winner? Alfie Reynolds.
Well, Luton 2, Grimsby 2, 82 minutes played. Is there a winner in this game indeed, Dan? Is there more drama in this game, in fact? Just as Luton earlier in the half had hoped that they'd broken the Grimsby resistance when Jordan Clark's effort saw them take the lead. The League 2 side went down the other end and Harry Clifton finished 1-on-1 with Horvath. It was madness, brilliant FA Cup madness. So that's where we are, 2-2 in this game. Crocombe in the Grimsby goal has produced a brilliant save earlier in this half to keep Morris's effort out, but Luton's attempts to try and get a winner, as you might be able to hear the groans in the background, is leading to a lot of frustration at the moment. You still get the impression though that there could be some drama in this game. 83 minutes played, it's Luton 2, Grimsby 2.
1-1 now between Scunthorpe and Bromley. Elliot Whitehouse with the goal 7 minutes from time, and a second for Northampton Town. Sean McWilliams with the goal 5 minutes from time should wrap up all 3 points for John Brady's side as they push to get out of League 2 this season after falling just short in such a dramatic manner, of course, last season. We're going to get a dramatic finish at Portman Road. Let's find out with Alvin Martin and Ian Abrahams.
7 minutes to go, still Ipswich 0, Burnley 0, and not for the want of trying, and we not managed to get a goal this afternoon. But I have to say, Lackey in the Ipswich goal has been outstanding. How he managed to fingertip a Josh Brownhill effort from all of 25 yards round the post. Goodness only knows. At the other end, Edmondson's had a header block. We've just seen Caden Jackson with a shot blocked after really good wing work down his near side. Alvin Martin, FA Cup winner in 1982 with West Ham. Are we going to see a late winner? Because I tell you what, both sides trying.
Well, Burnley territorial, have got an advantage, no doubt about that. But they're coming up against a really resolute Ipswich side. A side that aren't just sitting back, that want to attack and counter. But when they have to, they dig in. They've shown a lot of resilience there. The keeper has done well, but there's a lot of people in front of him, I think, who've been excellent today as well. And look, the 24,000 people here, mostly Ipswich fans. You can hear the reception. They're really behind their team and appreciative of the performance.
Absolutely. I mean, I was here earlier in the season, and Ipswich fielded a weakened side, and they went out in the League Cup in the first round with a bit of a whimper, to be honest, to Colchester United. But clearly, even though they're only third in League One and they want automatic promotion, their manager, Kieran McKenna, is going for it now. 5 minutes to go. It's winner take all. It's Ipswich 0, Burnley 0.
Hartlepool United looking for consecutive wins at home for the first time since February. Have got an equaliser against Colchester United. Jamie Sterry with the goal for Keith Curle's side, and an emphatic win in League One this afternoon for Morecambe. They're going to win by 5 at least against Bristol Rovers. Adam Major with Derek Adams' side's 5th goal at home this afternoon. Let's get next up to Ewood Park. Surely time for Birmingham to throw the kitchen sink. TalkSport's Matt Jones.
They're really trying, but they're still behind. Blackburn 2, Birmingham 1. Lots of endeavour from the visitors, but they just haven't got that final ball at the moment. The amount of times that they've tried to swing across into the box and it's hit the first man, or it's just gone over everyone and sailed out for a throw-in, it is countless. And Blackburn at the moment defending reasonably comfortably to the point where they are having the better of the chances. Carter with one not too long ago, a header from a corner which drifted just wide. There's just under 4,000 Birmingham fans here today, and they have been absolutely superb in their support for their side. But I have to say, unless something changes very quickly, their team are heading out of the FA Cup and they're heading for a 6th defeat in 7 games, which is absolutely not the form that John Eustace wants from his side, as they try and not only find some momentum in this competition but for the rest of the season as well. They're just making what will be their final change. Jordan James is coming on for Tahith Chong, who's had a pretty decent game but unable to find the back of the net, as have most of his teammates. They've got 90 seconds plus injury time to try and find an equaliser and force a replay, but at the moment it's Blackburn 2, Birmingham 1.
Right, let's try this again at the Western Home Stadium. Is it game on or game done? Alex Biddle.
Dan, Portsmouth are back in it. It's Peterborough 2, Portsmouth 1, and it's been coming. The last 10 minutes, Portsmouth have shown the quality of the last 2 games under John Mousinho. Colby Bishop making the run into the box. Shot blocked, another shot blocked, and then a melee just in the 6-yard box, and it's been tapped in. We'll get confirmation on who finished that very shortly, but Portsmouth, with 2 minutes to go, are back in this scintillating League One clash. It's Peterborough United 2, Portsmouth 1.
Hat-trick in the National League for Nicky Kabamba this afternoon. Barnet 3, Chesterfield 0. Kabamba, a previous player under Paul Cook at Portsmouth, now the Chesterfield boss. A 5th for Hibs, 5-0 up against Aberdeen. Serious trouble. Jim Goodwin at Aberdeen, the boss there. Southend United 1, Eastleigh 3, the latest in the National League to tell you about. And a consolation, Aaron Collins, another goal this season for him. Morecambe 5, Bristol Rovers 1. A consolation that surely for Joey Barton's side. We've got to take the latest at Hillsborough. We are running out of time, aren't we, Alan Biggs?
Yeah, just approaching the 90 minutes. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Fleetwood Town 1. There's going to be quite some added on time. It's been a fractious second half. One thing Sheffield Wednesday in particular won't want is a replay. They've got huge League One games coming up against Plymouth and Ipswich, but they fought back into this, got an equaliser. It looked to me at the time it came off Josh Earl, the Fleetwood defender. Actually, Malik Wilkes was in there as well. I think he's claiming that goal came from a raking cross from the left from Marvin Johnson, following which Lee Gregory had a great chance to put the home team in front. He's on a sub. He headed over from close range, and as we approach stoppage time here, would be a notable result for Fleetwood if they can hold on against mounting Wednesday pressure. In fact, 9 minutes is going to be added here, plus 9. It's Sheffield Wednesday 1, Fleetwood 1.
That Portsmouth goal has gone down as a Nathan Thompson own goal. Former Pompey player, Peterborough United 2, Portsmouth 1, latest in that League One action. And a late goal at Ewood Park. with TalkSport's Matt Jones.
And it's the away fans who are cheering because Birmingham have equalised. The man who's just come on the pitch not 2 minutes ago, Jordan James, has got it. Birmingham counter-attacking down the right-hand side of the field. The cross comes into the box from the substitute Medjbury, and it's met by James, who just taps into an empty net. Well, not an empty net, because Kaminski did seemed to get something on it but was unable to keep it out. That came after Jukovic had missed a glaring opportunity just minutes earlier, a deep cross into the box which he met but fired straight at Kaminski in a rather tame manner. But those 4,000 Birmingham fans who saw their team score in the 3rd minute have now seen them score in the 90th, and they are in full voice because they're potentially heading for a replay. Blackburn 2, Birmingham 2.
Nervy few final seconds in League 2. Crawley Town 3, Salford City 2. Now the latest after Matthew Lunn scored in the 93rd minute for Neil Wood's visitors. Hartlepool just got themselves back in the game. Heartbreak though. Jamie Sterry had just scored for Hartlepool. He's just put through his own net to make it 2-1 there. Hartlepool United 1, Colchester United 2 in League 2. Running out of time here at St Mary's in the FA Cup 4th round. TalkSport's Jake Robson alongside me. The issue is Blackpool just can't get on the ball, Jake.
They can't get on the ball. They can't make anything count at the moment. We're into the 3rd minute of the 6 added on here at the end of the 2nd half at St Mary's. It's Southampton 2, Blackpool 1. Saints meanwhile have emptied the bench. They've brought on Adams, Armstrong, Diallo, Mara, Adozi and Lavia have all gone off. It shows you really the difference maybe in class that we'll see in the end between the two sides. Some pretty decent names to be able to bring on. They're trying the overload on the right hand side here, Blackpool. Perro was all on his own and somehow he managed to get the interception in because there were 4 players around him. He was all at sea, the left back, who's been Southampton's best player so far. Blackpool, they're lumping it forward and it's pretty last ditch stuff as well from the home side. You wonder if they don't just try and get their foot on the ball and try and take some time out of the game. Some experienced heads are needed at this point from the home side. We've played 93 minutes, we've got 96 to be played. It's Southampton 2, Blackpool 1.
All bit of handbags.
Oh, it's all going off as you come back to me. It looks like it's going to be a booking for Diallo, the 2nd half sub. A bit of afters there after a foul. A couple of players involved as well. It's going to be a Blackpool free kick, but from deep they're going to try high and hoof it into the box. I'll let you know how it gets on. 93 played. It's Southampton 2, Blackpool 1.
It's got to the stage at Craven Cottage that surely Sunderland will love to take Fulham back to the stadium. I like Ollie Klink.
Oh my word, Dan. Fulham 1, Sunderland 1. We're in the last of 4 added on minutes. We've nearly had the moment of the FA Cup. 15-year-old Sunderland substitute Chris Rigg, as Fulham come forward once again. Mitrovic almost played in, but 15-year-old Chris Rigg, who's come on in this game, was played in. He smacked it into the back of the net, ran off. It was amazing celebrations, but it was ruled out for offside against Abdullah Bar. What a shame, because it would have been an incredible moment. Fulham though are the team that have been pressing. Mitrovic has gone close with a header. It's really been all the home side here, and as we push into the final stages, which are live on TalkSport 2, it's Fulham 1, Sunderland 1.
Keeper's gone up here as Blackpool press hard late on at St Mary's. Chris Maxwell up from the back-to-back corners. He's going to stay up from the back as well. Jake Robson alongside me. Blackpool, every single shirt in or just outside of the 18-yard box. Mick McCarthy, Terry Connor's side pressing hard for a replay. They want this replay in the FA Cup.
The goalie's up, Maxwell's up. It's going to be Lyons with the corner, and he hasn't been able to find him. The one before as well, Callum Connolly was at the back post. It wasn't a free header, but the ball did find him. He should have done better, and they've just recycled it as it's gone away for another corner. Lyons is over it again, away to my right-hand side. In it comes. Maxwell's still up there. It's not towards him, but it is towards the back post, and it's very well safely collected by Willie Caballero, who, as you can imagine, is now lying with the ball on the floor, arms around him. He is in absolutely no rush. We've got 30 seconds of the original 6 minutes of added time here towards the end of the 2nd half. Caballero on the ball, he's bouncing it, he's really taking the sting out of the game, as you'd expect the Southampton team to do. They probably should have done that before we got to this point. It has been a little bit harem-scarum at times for Saints at the back as Caballero hoofs it forward. The ball is now a bit of head tennis in the middle of the pitch as Southampton try and get the ball under control, and that is the final whistle. blown by referee Craig Pawson. It's into the 5th round for a 3rd season in a row for the Saints. They've now won 8 of their last 10 FA Cup games. Not so good in the Premier League, but so far pretty good in the Cups. It was they who took the lead 20 minutes in, a wickedly swerving free kick that Maxwell in the Blackpool goal could only watch as it viciously swerved past him very late. No Ward-Prowse, no problem, as the free kick maestro had been given the afternoon off. 62 minutes and it was 2 for Southampton, a second for Perrault, a 1-2 with Mara. He made his way into the box and he slammed it past Chris Maxwell, this time the goalkeeper, no fault at all. But then 5 minutes later, Blackpool were very much back in it. Patino with the goal, a brilliant run by Bowler, who took 1 or 2 with him, took them out of the game. A 1-2 with Yates, his ball into the box, found Patino, who was able to tap in. And then we had a good 25 minutes of really last-ditch stuff from the home side. But Southampton have managed to win this one. They've knocked out Blackpool. It's finished Southampton 2, Blackpool 1.
Let's bring you the closing stages at Kenilworth Road. Grimsby Town hoping to hang on for a replay. Alfie Reynolds.
Luton 2, Grimsby 2. We've played 5 minutes of the 7 minutes that were added on. The frustration is rising, the temperature is rising as Grimsby try and see out this game and earn themselves a replay of what has been a brilliant FA Cup tie. It's been one way and then the other. At one point it looked like the upset was going to be on for Grimsby against the run of play. They took the lead at the end of the first half through Gavin Holohan, but then in the second half, quick fire goals for Luton. First Adebayo from the penalty spot and then Jordan Clark with a really nice finish gave them the lead. But literally immediately after Luton had taken the lead, just at the point in the game where you thought Luton may have done enough to finally see off the League Two challenges, up the other end Grimsby went again and Harry Clifton finished 1-on-1 with Ethan Horvath. That's how we find ourselves at 2-2. We've also had some late drama as well, opportunities for both sides, perhaps the best of those falling to Luke Berry. Just a moment ago the ball whipped in from the left hand side, Berry arriving at the back post and hit it on the volley, and Max Crocombe in that Grimsby goal saved well at his front post. And since you've come to me, there's just been a little break in play for a couple of substitutions. I think there's a couple of substitutions on the far hand side for Grimsby. They're going to try and see out the remaining minutes of this game as slowly as they possibly can. By my watch, we have only got 15 seconds of that 7 minutes added on still to go, but I think we've probably still got another minute, possibly more, because of that break in play. So it's Crocombe who has it, the Grimsby goalkeeper, in his hands. He's already received a yellow card for time wasting at the end of this game. He's just going to thump it up into the Luton half of the field, goes all the way over towards Berry on that left hand side, heads it forward. It's scrappy in that final third. Luton just looking to pump one more opportunity forward and they're not able to. They're left footed, the ball goes out of play. It's going to be a throw in front of the benches on the far hand side of Kenilworth Road from where I'm sitting here. Be a Grimsby throw in on that halfway line. Andy Smith with the ball in his hands, quite happy to take his time and then just sends it down the touchline, looking for Clifton, who turns but then loses possession. But Grimsby fighting as they have done throughout the game, and in fact there's a free kick awarded here on the right hand side, a crossing position in that final third. The Luton players frustrated, but it's exactly the sort of opportunity that Grimsby have waited for in this game. They've defended resolutely in the first half and then waited for these moments to try and create something as we tick down towards the final seconds, the final moments of this FA Cup tie. The Grimsby fans behind that goal, which they're attacking, have not sat down, have not stopped singing throughout this match. Is there one final twist of this script? Is there one final late bit of drama for Grimsby to grab the victory in this game? Alex Hunt is going to be the man standing over this free kick. 20-25 yards out from the byline. It's on the right hand side, crossing opportunity for the visitors. What can they muster here? Luton 2, Grimsby 2. The League 2 side with an opportunity to deliver into the penalty area. Hunt's free kick can't quite clear that front post, and Luton are able to head it clear. And now it's Morris trying to go up the other end, scampering into the Grimsby half. They've got numbers up there, Luton. Morris with a heavy touch, and it's a really good covering tackle coming across from Clifton to send the ball out of play for a throw-in. We still don't reach the full-time whistle here on Talk Sport as another Grimsby player goes down. That's the reason for the further shouts of frustration amongst the home support. Luton, though, from this throw-in up the other end of the pitch in the final third, will give them a chance to launch a long throw into the Grimsby penalty area. It's Bryn Morris, I think, who's down, just adjusting his laces. That's the reason for the break in play. So we're well over the 7 minutes that were added on. 9.5 minutes of added time by my stopwatch is what we've had so far. So surely this is the final chance of the game. The throw-in goes short to Jordan Clark and he miscontrols it. It goes out of play. That's going to be a Grimsby throw-in in the left-back position. Jeers from the away support. 1,473 of the travelling Grimsby fans who will be delighted with this result. Niall Maher going over to take the throw-in, and surely I would imagine Tim Robinson, the referee, who has a look at his watch and blows the full-time whistle, and it's cheers for the Grimsby fans who see their side earn themselves a replay here. 2-2 it finishes at Kenilworth Road. A brilliant FA Cup tie. Luton will be frustrated that they weren't able to get the job done and that they'll have another fixture on this congested fixture list, but a brilliant FA Cup tie. It finishes Luton 2, Grimsby 2.
They're taking them to Blundell Park. Grimsby Town brilliant against Luton Town this afternoon. All the FA Cup fourth round replays will bring you coverage. Only one place you should be, right here on Talk Sport. Welcome to the EFL. Duncan Ferguson, the new Forest Green Rovers boss, his side leading, heading into added on time at Shrewsbury Town. Shrewsbury Town getting one back, and then Ryan Bowman in the 98th minute, 8th minute of added on time with the winner for Steve Cottrell's side. Forest Green Rovers lose first up under Duncan Ferguson in the most disappointing of manners. Full time at Craven Cottage this FA Cup fourth round weekend. How did it finish? TalkSport's Ollie Klink.
It finished Fulham 1, Sunderland 1 down. Brilliant game here, and a well-deserved replay earned by the Championship side as Sunderland hold their Premier League opponents. It was the away side who took the lead after just 6 minutes. Jack Clark nicking the ball off Issa Diop before slotting home. Fulham levelled midway through the second half. Tom Kearney firing it into the back of the net after jinking past a few players in the box. We then almost had an absolutely magical moment. 15-year-old Chris Rigg thought he'd won it for Sunderland at the death, but his goal was ruled out for offside. Absolute heartbreak for him. And then right at the end, Anthony Patterson, the Sunderland keeper, who had to be man of the match, produced an incredible save to keep out a Willian half volley. Fantastic game here. There'll be a replay at the Stadium of Light between these two. They're both still in the hat for round 5, but it's the Wearsiders who will travel back to the northeast proud of their performance. It's finished at Craven Cottage. Fulham 1, Sunderland 1.
What were you doing, Ollie Klink, when you were 15? Actually, please don't answer that question on national radio. Full time at Portman Road with Alvin Martin and Ian Abrahams.
Ipswich 0, Burnley 0. Some goalless draws are boring to the point you want to go home early. This was definitely not one of them. Either side could have won this one. Burnley in the second half in particular asked so many questions. Lackey had to make 3 outstanding saves in the Ipswich goal. The one that really stood out, a dipping volley from 25 yards to keep out Jay Rodriguez, but Brownhill twice and also Twine's free kick in the first half needed to be dealt with. While at the other end, Ipswich hit the crossbar early and late. First, Marcus Harness from the edge of the penalty area in the first half. Connor Chaplin with almost the last kick of the game with a cross-come shot that nearly went beyond Bailey Peacock Farrell. But as for Burnley, they've got to do it all again at Turf Moor in 10 days' time. Before that, that's it. They're back at East Anglia for Norwich next weekend in the Championship. Alvin Martin, A draw, a fair result? Do they both deserve another crack at the whip?
Yeah, I'd say so. Look, a thoroughly, good watch in terms of, football that was played. I think what we've seen was two teams full of confidence. Even though there were made changes to the starting lineups from what you would have expected, they both played really well. And I think, the fact that I think you looked at a team in Burnley playing so well in the Championship, head and shoulders above everybody else. But today, Ipswich matched them. They certainly matched them in effort, in technique. What they didn't have is a killer instinct today. But look, the crowd were absolutely chuffed at the end. McKenna, the Ipswich coach, can be delighted with his performance. And when he walked around the edge of the pitch, the crowd were really up for him, and I think that bodes well for the future.
Certainly does. 25,420 inside Portman Road. They'll all have to go up to Lancashire for a replay in 10 days' time. Ended Ipswich 0, Burnley 0.
Alvin Martin back with me in a second. Harry Kane starts on the bench for Antonio Conte's Spurs. They're at Deepdale, Preston Spurs. Live commentary on TalkSport in the FA Cup 4th round from 6 o'clock from 8. We bring you live from Old Trafford. Manchester United taking on Reading. She just mentioned full times in the FA Cup at Hillsborough. Finished Sheffield Wednesday 1, Fleetwood 1, Ashton Gate, Bristol City 3, West Brom 0. We'll be off to those grounds for reports in a second. Of the Championship, Coventry 2, Huddersfield 0, Hull 3, QPR 0, Middlesbrough 2, Watford 0. But next to Ewood Park for the full-time report with TalkSport's Matt Jones.
And a pulsating rollercoaster match here, but it finishes Blackburn 2, Birmingham 2. Both teams holding the lead at one point, both teams scoring in each half but unable to separate them. It all started in the 3rd minute. Kadra firing home from 25 yards after a loose pass in the Blackburn midfield gifted him possession. Thomas Kaminski will probably feel that he should have kept that one out. It took half an hour for Blackburn to find an equaliser. Brereton Diaz had a couple of shots saved before Rankin Costello eyed the bottom corner. Etheridge made a terrific save to tip the ball onto the bar, but it bounced back out to Bradley Dack, who was able to force home. Blackburn then scored and took the lead just 2 minutes into the second half. Rankin Costello did this time find the back of the net, his first goal in 2.5 years, putting his side 2-1 up, and it looked like that would be it for the scoring because Blackburn were pretty comfortable, and indeed they probably should have put the game to bed. Brereton Diaz racing through during a rapid counter-attack, but Etheridge came out to narrow the angle down. He tried to clip the ball goalwards, only for it to drop wide of the post. So with Blackburn looking like they were heading into the 5th round, they were pegged back in injury time. 2-2 it finished because James managed to get on the end of Medjbury's cross, and he prodded that one past Kaminski again, who did get something on